Welcome back to the first stream of the Ministry of Truth welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your only host on the show. 2025 will pretty much be more of the same, because I'm not going to hire anybody. Why should I hire anybody? I'm doing a good job myself, I think. Y'all think? I know you think. Anyway, so before we get into some seriousness, and then some goofiness, and then some history, let's start off 2025 with a little humor. Humor that CNN must have let slip. But it was humor nonetheless, and I really enjoyed it. So without further ado, instead of playing a music for the first segment of 2025, I'm going to play some comedy. Something a little different. Something that, some you might enjoy. Anyway, let's get to the comedy segment.
Are you sure? I thought it was Kathy Griffin screaming at you from the street. Are you sure? I think she's cursing you.
Well, no doubt. And how is Junior?
Junior's doing wonderful.
Wow.
I had my baby myself.
How old?
A year old.
Wow.
I know. I'm finally back. I did carry my own child. Television just doesn't pay what it used to, so had to carry my own kid. It was pretty humbling.
What are you most excited for?
I'm touring all over for all of 2025.
Wow.
Very excited.
Do you like being on the road?
Touring. It's the best. I love going around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed.
Absolutely.
They're pretty great, and I'm playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people would want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
It's coming.
Not this show, though.
Nice.
All eyes are on this show.
Wow. Wait, where are you going to be toasting New Year's?
I think I'm just gonna, after what I'm about to do, I think I'll probably be in a huddle with a bunch of lawyers or something.
Okay.
So I don't have big plans for after this.
Well, this was the year that we learned that roast probably shouldn't have.
So she released a post on her Twitter 6 hours before this saying, "Oh, something's coming. Y'all should be ready." And
Live events.
yeah, she was
Whitney
right.
Cummings, it is time for you to roast the year.
Oh, my Lord.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Feel free to heckle me. Feel free to come for me.
Never.
I do believe we need to hold 2024 accountable for its behavior. That is what white women do now. We point out other things that are toxic because we don't get irony. And that is our truth. This was the year that people were behaving so poorly, we started being wistful about murderers.
Right.
Remember, this was the year we were like, were the Menendez brothers so bad? Were we too hard on the Menendez brothers? This was the year we could not get enough of murderers. Gypsy Rose became our favorite celebrity because murdering your mom is so brat. They had her on a red carpet, a little on the nose for a murderer, but she was posing in a fancy dress. We were like, slay, and she was like, I did. And of course, our heartthrob of the year was the alleged cold-blooded killer named Luigi, who is now in the same prison as Diddy, which I'm very upset about because Luigi already has a lower back issue. This was the year nothing made sense. Fertility was down, sales of baby oil was up, white supremacy groups reached record highs. It got so bad, Ariana Grande became white again. 2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong. I'm like, does the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a
I get that shit wrong sometimes too.
We just all broke mentally this year. Things got so bleak. We started watching the WNBA. What happened? And we also started watching older women in movies. Equality or insanity? You tell me. Demi Moore was in a movie called The Substance, showing that Hollywood's ready for a woman in her 50s to star in a movie as long as a hot 28-year-old wears a leotard for most of it. Pam Anderson's getting Oscar buzz for a movie she did wearing no makeup. Guys, that's not progress if you call it brave. Documentaries finally realized the only way to make money is to just make them about cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleader doc showed the girls being treated horribly, underpaid, crying. I thought I'd open a video on Hunter Biden's laptop. This is the year everyone hated the movie The Joker, but if you do love watching men descend into insanity, in a couple hours you get to watch Andy Cohen do the countdown. In 2024, some things left us, some came back. Sanity left us. Somehow crypto is back. Do you guys even know what crypto? No one thought the timing of crypto was.
What's up, Yeti?
As soon as women started making money, they were like, money's over. Money's is over. I don't even know what crypto is. As far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, I don't. 2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
Speaking to Bernie's.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God, Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No.
Let me be clear though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on Establishment Media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know
Here it
that we'll
comes.
never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump shooter didn't
Here
have
it comes.
underwear in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I still streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
We are live on CNN. You look cool as a cucumber.
No censorship on CNN.
Thank
Love
you
you
very
guys.
much.
Thanks for having me.
Love you.
What a dream. Oh, no.
What a dream.
Anderson's melting down.
Anderson's here.
I only understood like half the references, so I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
He
doesn't.
I'm not a
He
pop
doesn't.
culture.
Yeah, no shit.
I know.
He doesn't know. I know.
I
You didn't
tried to
see the
find a
Dallas
documentary. You didn't
Cowboys.
see the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader
No.
documentary?
Although I know, yes, I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
We have a lot more ahead as we say goodbye to 2024 and welcome the new year in a moment. A performance from Shania Twain. Plus, we're going to check in with Randy Kay. She's back in Key West,
That was
Florida.
probably a great start to 2025. However, that was probably the only good thing about New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and we're going to get into some of that. But before we get into that, I love dogs. Dogs are great. I love cats. Cats are great. I love all animals except for skunks. Skunks are retarded. Why the fuck do you want a cat that fucking shits and makes it smell like asshole? Right? Bill! Hey, cat. So, let's listen to, what state was this? Ah, fuck it. Let's get to the story. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's weird. Why is it not? Give me a second, guys. Fuck. Now it wants to play dumb. There we go.
Story about two dogs thrown from the Dog River Bridge.
Tonight, an 18-year-old and a 71-year-old face animal cruelty charges.
Natalie Williamson working on this story tonight. Those two were taken into custody, you say, in just the last few hours.
Yeah, that's right, Lenise and Cameron. Robert Bryant with the City of Mobile Animal Services says they
Had
didn't
to be
have much
Alabama.
information on the suspect after the dogs were thrown off the bridge on Saturday. But with the help of Mobile police and the community, they were able to track down the two suspects, DeVoris Gallery and Mary Rivers, in just a few days.
She wouldn't have cut dogs.
That's 18-year-old Tavorius Gallery, one of two people accused of throwing these two miniature pinchers off the Dog River Bridge Saturday. Police also arresting 71-year-old Mary Rivers, who was also let out of the Mobile 1st Precinct Wednesday night. It's a story that captured the attention of many within the community. Two little dogs thrown off Dog River Bridge on December 28th. Photos of this black SUV making its way around social media, getting thousands of shares, all to help identify the people responsible for this act of animal cruelty. The 911 call came in around 3:30 p.m. Saturday after DJ Perryman says he heard a loud splash while he was at the River Shack, followed by gasps of people.
We first thought it was a person jumping, and then we looked out and saw the two heads swimming and realized it wasn't a person but an animal.
Police say
Who got the
these
dogs?
2 dogs were thrown off this bridge, which stands 73 feet above water. Lieutenant Tina Zanko with MPD says she, along with Corporal Paul Lee with MPD and Lieutenant Bailey McDonough with Daphne Search and Rescue, were able to get the dogs quickly, bringing them to shore, wrapping them in towels, and giving them lots of love and care. Animal Services say the dogs are in good spirits and health and being cared for by a foster family. Investigators say they were questioning people along Clubhouse and Alba Club roads Wednesday when a patrol officer spotted a vehicle matching the description of the vehicle they were looking for. That's when police initiated a traffic stop and detained Rivers and Gallery. Robert Bryant, director of Mobile Animal Services, says it shows just how hard people work.
That's only a misdemeanor? So they're not really going to get anything. Michael Vick went to prison.
To hold others accountable.
This is up amongst the top of the things you see. When you see such intent to cause harm, it is pretty bad.
Bryant says the dogs were brought to the shelter today to get an update on their vaccines and are still healthy. He also says they have received numerous applications.
You think they got the bird flu? Because, you know, bird flu is getting cats and dogs. Bird flu is killing the cats, it's killing the dogs. All right.
From people.
So you think the subway in New York City would be a little bit safer after the lady caught on fire by the illegal who was like, whatever, I'm going to stand here and watch it. Well, oh, this isn't the one. There was another fire, but I guess I didn't put that one in. However, people on the subway are still fucking around.
Everyone, and thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. The time 5:41 on the East Coast and 2:41 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'm here to bring you all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. I do want to get to some breaking news that we are following here on Live Now. Take a look at this video coming in from our Fox 5 New York station. Here is what we know about that suspect right there on your screen. Police say the suspect has been arrested after a man was pushed onto the subway tracks near Chelsea. All of this happening Tuesday afternoon. That is according to NYPD. Now, the suspect, identified as 23-year-old Kamel Hawkins, has been charged with second-degree attempted murder and second-degree assault. The victim, a 45-year-old man, we're told was shoved onto the subway tracks there at the 18th Street station. That is over in Chelsea at around 1:30 p.m. local time. He was struck by a southbound number 1 train and rushed over to Bellevue Hospital by first responders. We are told that he is in critical but stable condition. Authorities say at this time, it does appear the attack was random. They are working to gather more information. Police have not held a news conference or anything of that nature just yet. Once they do, we'll make sure to bring that to you right here on Live Now.
Fuck it, let's just push people on the trains. Let's light them on fire. No big deal. New York City is the safest city in the world.
Thank you for being.
Well, he definitely walked back on that one. Now from New York City to New Orleans. If you haven't heard, New Orleans had a terrorist attack with an Antifa flag on the vehicle. Now, do I think Antifa might actually have a part of this because it's a global intifada? Maybe. Or, hear me out, they're saying it's ISIS. Again. Right? Is ISIS really back? This guy was an American. This was a U.S. Army veteran from the U.S. Army Reserve. Not very smart, judging by his jobs and what he did. But the FBI originally said he was a lone wolf. The FBI says it wasn't it was an isolated incident. Well, the FBI walks some of that back.
Being here today and for your patience. First, I want to acknowledge the victims of today's horrific attack. The FBI and our partners are working diligently to investigate and find answers on behalf of the victims, the citizens and residents of Louisiana, and everyone visiting the city. I'm going to provide you some facts and information about what we do know. I know that all of you will have questions, and we will try to provide some answers. But this is an ongoing investigation that's rapidly evolving. So there are some questions I will be unable to answer at this time. The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we're investigating this as an attack of terrorism along with our partners. Today at approximately 3:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, an individual drove a pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing...
Not his pickup truck. Same with the Cybertruck. Has anybody ever heard of Turo? I remember seeing commercials about Turo, and that's how those vehicles were rented. What's up, Southwest? Hope you had a good New Year.
At least 10 individuals and injuring
15.
dozens more. After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and transported to local hospitals. The subject has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud Dim Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented, and we are working to confirm how the subject came in possession of this vehicle. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle.
See, that's a change. When it originally came out, they weren't admitting to that. They had to come back and
The FBI
correct
is
it.
working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Weapons and potential improvised explosive devices, IEDs, were located in the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. As of now,
Bunch of IEDs planted around New Orleans. Well, downtown. My question is, how did the fucking vehicle get onto the street when it's supposed to be closed, especially for New Year's?
2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe. The FBI Special Agent bomb technicians, as well as our local law enforcement partners, have been working to determine if any of these devices are viable, and they'll work to render those devices safe. The FBI, we are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. We're aggressively running down all of the leads to identify the possible subject's associates. We're working to ensure that there is no further threat. We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We are aggressively running down every...
When it first initially came out, they're walking back everything they said. Oh, I believe it was very planned, and we're going to get into that a little more because the same thing happened in Germany like a week or 2 ago.
Every lead, including those of his known associates. That's why we need the public's help. We are asking if anybody has any interactions with Shamsud Dim Jabbar in the last 72 hours that you contact us. The FBI is asking the public's help. We're asking anyone who has information, video, or pictures to provide it to the FBI. We have set up a digital tip line as well as our 1-800 number, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Please provide us with any information that can assist us in this investigation. Once again, thank you for your patience and assistance. For an updated statement or information, please check the FBI's website and our social media accounts. I will now turn over to Mayor Cantrell.
I'm actually blocked on one of their... No, the ATF blocked me on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Agent Duncan, for your leadership and the full support of the FBI. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest condolences to the families and loved ones that were impacted by this tragedy on Bourbon Street and in the heart.
Yo, I was watching some of the footage. Bro, the bodies were just strewn over the place. Fucking broken bones, blood. It was fucking crazy. And I can't play that on Facebook or YouTube, so.
of the city of New Orleans. And I know that the entire New Orleans City Council grieves along right with me, no doubt about that, and our people and our families. My priority will continue to be to ensure that victims that remain on Bourbon Street.
Wait a second, if both vehicles were rented through Turo, maybe Turo should be investigated. Just saying. 2 terrorist attacks in less than 24 hours?
Now will be serviced and removed as soon as possible, but as stated, the FBI is in charge of this investigation and are doing everything necessary to make this happen.
We'll never get answers.
I also want to acknowledge hearing from President Biden, all of our federal partners, but most importantly, calling Governor Landry this morning, responded with haste, and we do say thank you. And of course, a demonstration of a unified support is right here in this room. That's how we collectively responded to this tragedy in the city of New Orleans. The mission now is to facilitate, support, and coordinate safety procedures to keep our residents and our visitors safe. I've gone to the hospital along with Chief Kirkpatrick to visit our police officers, and considering their injuries, they're doing well. As I mentioned, this investigation is ongoing, and the FBI remains the lead in the investigation. It is an active crime scene as well. We are committed, no doubt, to uncovering all details surrounding this tragedy. And we're taking every necessary step to put even more safety procedures in place, especially given the nature of the investigation. I'm going to ask people to do not go around our secured area if there is no essential need to do so. It matters, and again, it is an active crime scene. I also want you all to know that the Greater New Orleans Foundation has set up a fund to assist victims, and that information will be provided to you. Thank you, Ganoff. Again, I want to thank this unified team. We're leaning in. We will be relentless, and we will do everything that it takes to render real justice. This team will. I want to also thank our citizens
and I see all of it.
For your heartfelt prayers. New Orleans is a world-class city, and I can say that I've heard from world leaders all this morning and up until now, in addition to my brother and sister mayors across this country. They're calling, they're responding, and they're standing with the city of New Orleans. And what they always say and want me to reiterate, they understand the resilience of this community. And we're strong in that regard. And I will say second to none.
Don't forget who created ISIS.
Turn it over to our governor. And as I mentioned, who has not wavered any in leaning in, providing the necessary support, and standing right here with me. And I say thank you, Governor. And I know the First Lady is standing with us as well.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Again, I want to thank the Mayor. Since about 3:45 this morning, when she called me, we have all been working just around the clock to both secure the city and to solve this act. You know, again, I want to reiterate that our prayers go out with all of those who have been affected by this tragedy. I want to thank our law enforcement officers. I want to thank our medical personnel. I want to thank our first responders. And most importantly, I want to thank the 2 New Orleans police officers who not only laid their life on the line, but were able to eliminate the threat this morning. Let me say, we have made public safety a state priority from day one. And I think that if you look around me today, right now, and you look at the people who are standing around, that is their commitment as well. We intend to be transparent in assessing any defects that may have existed in the system so that we can address them. It's the only way to ensure that any mistakes that were made are corrected. Specifically, we have been trying and working very diligently to address security concerns
If it's going to
in
happen again, it's
preparation
not going to
for the
happen
Super
in
Bowl
Orleans.
since October. And it's interesting because, ironically, in preparation for the Super Bowl, I had intended to issue an emergency declaration tomorrow so that we could bring all of our federal, state, and local agencies to bear in preparation for the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras. But because of the events today,
they were literally supposed to have one of the playoff games for college football that right around the time they're having this press conference. Obviously, that canceled, and they're going to replay it, I believe, today. So hopefully their security measures are better than they were 2 days ago. 1 day
I
ago.
have amended that emergency declaration and issued it today. So again, that declaration will allow our federal, state, and local partners to bring all of the resources necessary to get this city safe. In light of that executive order, I have also ordered the mobilization of a military police company. I've asked General Freelou to mobilize a military police company to assist both New Orleans Police and LSP and the FBI. It is important for our citizens and guests of this state to know that we are doing everything we can to secure their safety in this city. We want to make it clear, the Superdome and the surrounding area is safe. But I've always said that the safety of this entire city is something that is always paramount to me.
It's funny when you think about all this defund the police movements. That's what happens. Could it prevented it? I don't know. Should there have been police vehicles blocking off the streets? Yes. Why were the streets? Why was that street accessible to this guy? Why were there not blockades? Knowing damn well that street's going to be crowded, like it is almost every day. Bro, that was a failure in my mind. Good morning, Batmom. Happy New Year. Batmom's back, everybody. Batmom is back. What's up, Zippity?
This is the top of the hour. Thank you for staying with us here on News Nation Now. I'm Nick Smith, and today from Nicole Burley. We begin this hour following the latest developments out of this morning's deadly truck attack in New Orleans. According to sources telling our local affiliate WGNO-TV, the suspect has now been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jubar. Police say a vehicle driven into a crowd of people just after 3:15 a.m. on Bourbon Street left 10 people dead and more than 30 hurt. The perpetrator then opened fire on police, hitting 2 of them. Police then returned fire, killing the driver. The FBI is investigating this attack as an attack.
You know what they haven't been mentioning that they did originally? The guy was in tactical gear and had plates.
As an act of terrorism. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton is live in New Orleans with the very latest. Brian, we have been hearing from witnesses all day who have talked about what they saw on the ground, many of them still in shock.
Yeah, people are in shock here, Nick, and you can imagine why. I mean, it's New Year's Day, New Orleans, New Year's Day. You've got the Sugar Bowl here tonight. You've got people here from all over the world, many of them just waking up after a late night partying and realizing that this city is now the scene of a terror attack and that most of Bourbon Street is now closed. Let me show you what it looks like behind me, Nick. They've got at least, I'd say, 6 to 8 blocks of Bourbon shut down right now. This is as close as we can get. We've seen FBI agents walking around, going block to block. I've noticed them looking in trash cans, looking in other cars. They're in their crime scene gear. We saw them wearing booties. And it's a couple of blocks from where we're standing now, where the suspect's car, the white truck, is. And the whole front of it is smashed in. I just walked down there a little while ago. They won't let you close, but you could see a couple of blocks down. It was there on the side of the road. And the videos, I mean, some of these videos that I'm seeing from people.
Oh, those were the
in the area
blockades?
who were up on.
Yeah, that's going to stop. That's going to stop a fucking truck. Those little orange barriers. I'm pretty sure there's not even water in them, because that probably would have slowed it down enough to shoot the guy. Should have been blocked off by police vehicles. Hell, even use your fucking SWAT team vehicles. Those are intimidating. It's almost like the dude knew where the weak points were and attacked.
On the balconies on Bourbon, shooting down when this happened about 3 a.m. I mean, it's just horrific. This guy literally just ran people over at a very, very high rate of speed. The latest from police here in New Orleans, 10 dead.
15.
That was the update from a couple of hours ago. These numbers are likely going to change, but the latest is 10 dead, Nick, and dozens of people injured. Many people were told weren't even counted as injured initially because they took their own cars and people drove them to the hospital. But you can just imagine what that looked like.
He did,
This
Southwest.
terrorist drove down Bourbon Street. It was right near Bourbon and Canal Street, just running people
So
over.
initial reports is that he died, obviously, because he got shot, but they had 4 other people detained. And initially, the FBI is like, yeah, this was a lone wolf. But as you see, they walked it back hours later because they were wrong. Everybody was saying that the FBI is because she's a DEI hire, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, my question is, those 4 other individuals, who are they? What are their backgrounds? Are they similar to Mr. Well, it doesn't matter now because he's dead. Because that could lead to a bigger things coming. And it's funny. What the fuck was that? Oh, that was me. Fuck, what was I going to say? It's funny that all this is happening right as the new year begins, when the Democrats literally have a secret plan to keep Trump or the vote from being certified. Wait, so they want to stage a coup? And this could be a way to get everybody looking? Or my other thing is, was it really ISIS? Maybe. Were they Jews? Oh, yeah. There's another reason that I can't remember right now. It'll come back to me.
3 a.m. And you mentioned it. The latest from our News Nation sources is that the suspect is 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar. We're working right now to learn more about exactly who he is, what his motivations were. There's a lot of focus. There was
Dude was pretty smart.
Told by witnesses.
Kinda.
There was a flag on the back of the white pickup truck that he was driving. And what's interesting is the witnesses here say the police very quickly covered that flag.
They did with a jacket.
What is that flag? What does it say? Will that tell us something about what his motivations are? We're waiting to find out. But police say he entered the area around 3 a.m., ran people over. They were quick to call it a terror attack. They say that he had 2 firearms with him in his truck and that there was a shootout with police. 2 New Orleans police officers were shot. We're told they're in stable condition, but we're hoping to get an update on them and the entire investigation coming up soon here from New Orleans Police and FBI. FBI, of course, now taking over the investigation since they're saying
Well, they should have had it the whole
this
time.
was an act of terrorism. Nick?
And Brian, we're understanding that everyone is commending those officers who responded so quickly and how quickly police response was overall as soon as this incident went down.
Yeah, that's what people are saying out here also. I mean, we're told there were about 300 police officers on duty. I mean, it's New Orleans, it's Bourbon Street. They're used to big crowds. They're used to this being a hot spot destination, especially for New Year's and then with the Sugar Bowl tonight. So police response was not an issue from what we're told. I mean, there were police everywhere. An issue that has come up.
He was a reserve. He spent 10 years in the reserves.
People are upset here about it. Is why the barricades weren't activated. New Orleans has one of the most modern and state-of-the-art barricade systems for Bourbon Street and the area where pedestrians
Why were they not there?
especially during these big nights like New Year's. Other cities have modeled their barricades after what New Orleans did, and the whole intention of these barricades was to stop something like this from happening, to stop cars from coming in to the areas where the people walk.
Who made the call?
Them from being able to pick up.
Thanks for watching. Go
Who
to joinnn.com.
made the call to keep those barricades down, and why? Maybe they should investigate why those barricades weren't down. Were they broke? Motherfucker, it's the most sophisticated system in the United States. Most are modeled after it. The fuck out of here. Then how are they not working? How are they not working? Mayor? Governor?
A police policy.
Well, now we're going to get into crime in places like Oakland. I did not know that the reason there's so much crime in Oakland, California is because they have a no pursuit policy. So, of course you're going to have a shit ton of crime because all they got to do is get in their car and start driving, and they're not going to follow them because of 2 people died. I get it. People did die. Yes, it's unfortunate. However, if these cops know, or these criminals know they can get away, what's going to stop them from doing more crime?
He's so bad that even Gavin Newsom is calling for it to change.
A stern warning from Governor Newsom to Oakland.
We got to stop the bleeding.
The governor's message: immediately change your police pursuit policies or lose state support to combat public safety. Currently, OPD is only allowed to pursue someone if they're suspected of a violent crime or when a gun is present.
You could be drunk. You can run a red light. You can come close to side-swiping a school bus during the morning hours, right in front of a police officer, and the pursuit policy in Oakland says we can't pursue that suspect.
Supporters of the current policy argue police chases are dangerous and disproportionately target people of color. The commission currently plans to discuss potential changes at the end of January, but Newsom is urging them to call a special session.
They can do so with urgency, with focus, conviction to address the issue at hand. The
Holy
crisis
shit.
at
Everybody take a minute. Hello, Smashley. Long time no see. I haven't seen you in like a year.
hand. I would expect and demand that they do.
But let's play devil's advocate and go back to late 2022.
A memorial sits under the BART tracks at 69th and San Leandro for 44-year-old Agustin Coyoto, the innocent victim of an Oakland police chase. Coyoto died when a wanted suspect fleeing from officers crashed into his red pickup truck on Monday morning. His truck's horn blaring from the weight of his body.
Getting the gang all back together? Yep.
On the steering wheel. He's the second bystander to be killed as a result of an Oakland police chase this year. In June, Soakai, an innocent bystander at a taco truck with his family, was killed at 54th and International by a suspect who crashed his Nissan while fleeing from police at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. 2 officers are under investigation for allegedly chasing the driver without permission.
They engaged in a ghost chase. No lights, no sirens, no permission, no authorization. These 2 Oakland police officers,
they got fired,
caved into their ego. They came back and pretended as if they knew nothing of the death and destruction that they had caused.
Their instinct wasn't to help. It was to conceal their acts.
The Oakland Police Department will fire 2 officers who initiated an unauthorized chase.
You might think the pursuit policy came after this, but believe it or not, it was already in place. And in 2022...
So far this year, Oakland police have already been involved in 113 chases. That's a 50% jump over last year. Now, some are wondering whether the dangers outweigh the need to arrest violent or armed suspects.
If the pursuit policy changes, you can assume the amount of pursuits will go up, and that increases the risk of innocent people getting hurt in those chases.
The police have to pursue a guy that committed a dangerous crime, and my car gets hit. I'll gladly take that death. my death, not anybody else's, right? If they get this guy and fucking murder him. I mean, you know, family might be a little devastated. Okay, quite a bit devastated. But they're still going to get paid. Sounds bad? Everybody dies. And we come back.
Gavin Newsom has made his position clear. So what do you do?
Many, many, many reasons why I don't live in California. Speaking of California, Batmom suddenly shows up whenever I talk about California. Is crime that bad in Oakland? I'm not saying that you're from that area, but is crime that bad in Oakland? What is when? I don't understand what that acronym means, so you're going to have to fill me in. Shit, I put this shit in the wrong order. Here we go. Should be up to the officer, but I don't know. Over and again. This is all new.
Bring in NBC News law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. He's been reporting all morning on this. Tom, I see your new note, but I'll let you tell us what you know about. You're learning much more about the suspect.
We sure are, and I'm going to fold in the reporting of my colleagues Julia Ainsley and Ken Delaney in here. First off, from an investigation standpoint, there is an active effort right now to investigate a potential improvised explosive device.
It all ties together.
So a homemade explosive device, in plain English, found inside that individual's vehicle. There are at least 2 other potential, again, not confirmed, potential improvised explosive devices that were planted in the area. They're trying to determine, are those actual explosives? Could they have gone off? And are they tied to this particular individual? So they're looking at that as well. It's our understanding that this person had on his person a long gun as well as potentially another weapon. And the FBI now says on the record that this 42-year-old identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, and the FBI has now identified him publicly, says that he's a U.S. citizen from Texas, that an ISIS flag was located, and I'm quoting now, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Now, that ISIS flag that they say was located in the vehicle is believed to be affixed to the hitch on the tailgate. So if you look at this photo and you look at where the license plate is, it's a Texas license plate on the back of it, there's a white pole that kind of comes up there, and there's a black material, some sort of potentially a flag, a garment, whatever it is, that might be, in fact, the flag that was there. So that's something that they're looking at, Kate.
It's hard to see the Antifa flag because you look at some of the Antifa, ISIS, what the fuck ever. Because you can barely see it, but that's not the flag that they're showing you. That's a jacket they put over the flag. If you look at a lot of the pictures, like the original pictures, like I don't see a fucking ISIS flag. All you see is a jacket, you know. And then hearing what they said, it's now easy to see why.
In addition, we're told that they're looking into this vehicle and where they got it from, but there's no indication at this point that the person who rented this vehicle, which may have been through an application, so there's kind of like an Airbnb for cars, that this individual rented out the car, but may not have known this person's intentions. That's something that law enforcement will continue to look into.
And they're going to
try again, the headlines here, the FBI now...
This truck was coming up from the southern border trying to make you think it was an illegal, and it's not. It's not even his truck.
Formally confirming the information that we broke several hours ago that Shamsuddin Jabbar is, in fact, the person they believe is responsible for this deadly truck attack. We are told that shortly we will be, from multiple senior law enforcement officials, we'll hear that the death toll has risen, that this individual is a citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, and that that truck had an ISIS flag that was found in it. And that's what the FBI is investigating at this standpoint. From this, at this hour, I should say, that multiple special agent bomb technicians from the FBI and other local law enforcement agencies, in this particular case, it would be the Louisiana State Police, the New Orleans Police Department, but typically the Louisiana State Police has a pretty robust presence on this. they'll take a look at some other devices, which we are reporting.
You know what? If there's explosives, where's the ATF? Why don't we have another federal organization investigating this? Why is the ATF not involved? Because there's no dogs to shoot? Get it. Got it.
According to 3 law enforcement officials briefed on the matter, at least 2 other devices that were planted in the vicinity that is obviously of high interest. This really changes a bit the security picture here, because if other devices were planted where they planted elsewhere in New Orleans, and obviously we're all acutely aware of the event that is happening tonight in that city, the Sugar Bowl, and what does it mean for that event? So a lot of questions here, Kate and Morgan, but I'll kind of send it back to you for any questions you might have as we continue to do our reporting and pour through this.
Tom, first off, excellent reporting, because for our viewers who are just turning in, you gave us 4 really big new nuggets that really changed the landscape of what we've been seeing. We talked about the flag, ISIS flag. 2 potential IEDs. 3, more details from the suspect. We now know he's 42-year-old U.S.-born citizen born in Texas. And 4, you mentioned that the death toll was expected to rise. On that note, Tom, and I want to go back to that flag that we're looking at here. They're
going to keep pushing that. I can see them now. They're pushing the ISIS narrative because it's everywhere. What if it's MK Ultra? I mean, our countries would do that. They did it with 9/11.
Breaking news from New Orleans. The FBI is looking into the background of a Texas man who rammed a rented truck into a crowd.
At least 15 people have been killed. The FBI calling it an act of terrorism. KTLA 5's Annie Rose Ramos live in studio with the latest details. Annie Rose, good morning.
Megan, Chris, lots to cover here after an alleged terrorist driving a rented white pickup truck up Canal Street, jumps the curb at the entrance of Bourbon Street, gets over a police car and onto the sidewalk. And this morning we are learning his truck wasn't his only weapon.
Wait.
He also had a firearm and an explosive device. But before
he jumped a curb and flew over a police car? This is like some Hollywood bullshit.
Before we show you some of...
Listen, Angry G. Piss bottles. They're gross. What? When I was deployed? Bro, I'm going to piss in a bottle and take it out the next morning. Makes sense, right? Just makes sense.
These images from last night, we want to warn you, they may be disturbing.
Oh.
In the first few hours of the new year, terror on the streets of New Orleans. This cell phone video capturing the scene of bodies sprawled out on the city's famed Bourbon Street. The wounded being treated while still lying on the road. As police began racing towards the carnage after a driver plowed his pickup truck into the crowds in the historic French Quarter, killing as many as 15 people and injuring dozens of others.
Because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did.
Police saying the suspect started his attack at 3:15 a.m. local time, first using his car as a weapon, mowing people down for 3 blocks before crashing into a crane. He died in a shootout with police. 2 police officers were shot and injured, as many other onlookers.
My mind keeps, every time they see something new, crashed into a crane. Oh, there just happened to be a crane in the middle of the road.
Looked on in horror and shock.
A truck, I didn't know it was a Ford F-150. I thought it was like a Yukon or something. A truck hits the corner and comes barreling through people, throwing people like a movie scene, like real life, throwing people into the air. They falling under the car, all of that. A good friend of mine actually passed away from getting hit by it. And you know the little divots in the wall just like this? So this is what a lot of people jumped into to get away from the truck. After it gets past us, the guy, I didn't know it was a terrorist, but the guy ends up getting out and shooting people. Like, he had ARs and bombs and all that, man. But the aftermath
I didn't know he had bombs.
got me, like, bodies all up and down the street. Everybody screaming and hollering. You look down.
How did you know they had bombs? You knew they had a gun, but how do you know they had bombs?
You see somebody doing CPR, you look around, people crying on the floor, like brains matter all over the ground. And yeah, it really hurt me to see like one of my closest friends like that.
The FBI now the lead in this investigation, identifying the suspect as 42-year-old Shamshun Din Jabbar. According to state records, he had 2 misdemeanor charges in his past, one for theft and the other for driving with an invalid license.
Oh.
He's a U.S. citizen from Texas, and at this hour, authorities are still hunting for potential co-conspirators.
These motherfuckers.
We do not believe that Jabbar
had fucking 4 to 5 people detained shortly after this happened. What happened to them? I thought you guys had video. Well, what happened? No? Okay. Makes total sense. Alright, this guy is a Korean who kind of thinks the same way I do. And, well, he put this out
at 3 a.m.
4 hours ago. So we're going to review it. And I believe we also get to talk about the Tesla truck. The Tesla truck. Now, this Tesla truck exploded at Trump International. Somehow when that happened, none of the windows for the hotel got blown out.
New Year's Day, a man drove a rented truck onto Bourbon Street in New Orleans, ending the lives of 15 before dying in a gunfight with the police right after, as an ISIS flag was found on the attacker's truck. Then, across the country at the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, at 8 a.m., a man set off a huge explosion from a Tesla Cybertruck parked outside. As the driver inside dies, injured.
So that's a sign for both Elon and Trump.
Others outside, but miraculously the windows of the hotel were not damaged. And now, in New York City, there are apparently marches on behalf of the Intifada.
Oh, the Free Palestine people are
now.
now.
2025 has already started off terribly, and the way the world is reacting makes me believe it's only going to get worse. Now we'll break
about these Free Palestine people, who in reality were talking about Hamas. Now they see all these, and then you had Luigi, and they treated Luigi like a hero. Still do. And now all these brainwashed people are like, oh, the Muslims are doing an intifada. We're getting rid of all the bad people, in their mind. All because we glorify criminals. Way to go, media.
Break down the information we have so far, so hopefully you and your loved ones are prepared best as possible for what's to come. Because just like in 2024, the media again seemed to do their best to downplay the situation. As initially, people saw the ISIS flag, but they claimed this was not terror-related.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Then the news media in unison reported this was just a truck crash. But afterwards, there just happened to be a shooting. Until finally updating that story with the driver expressed desire to kill in driver rot carnage, which is sadly similar to what happened back in 2021, where a piece of trash attacked a Christmas parade, but the news media rushed out to downplay it as a SUV randomly speeding into the street, seemingly exonerating the person that did it, but also not informing the public that they may still be in danger, as nobody would be concerned over a headline of a truck randomly crashing into Bourbon Street, but that basically buries the fact that there was a shootout and more devices were found inside the vehicle.
Also, a corresponding remote control discovered inside the vehicle. Now, this is also significant. According to the same intelligence...
Hey, Zip, if you're listening, yeah, I heard about this Virginia guy already. The largest, like most of them were improvised explosive devices as well. And you guys weren't seeing the video. What the fuck? And no one told me?
That was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Then the news media in unison reported this was just a truck crash. But afterwards, there just happened to be a shooting. Until finally updating that story with the driver expressed desire to kill in driver rot carnage, which is sadly similar to what happened back in 2021, where a piece of trash attacked a Christmas parade, but the news media rushed out to downplay it as a SUV randomly speeding into the street, seemingly exonerating.
That was, in what, fuck was his name? The South Citizen. Darren Brooks.
The person that did it, but also not informing the public that they may still be in danger, as nobody would be concerned over a headline of a truck randomly crashing into Bourbon Street, but that basically buries the fact that there was a shootout and more devices were found inside the vehicle.
Also, a corresponding remote control discovered inside the vehicle. Now, this is also significant. According to the same intelligence bulletin, surveillance footage, Molly, captured 3.
So his trigger detonator must have fucked up. If the two vehicles didn't go off, they had a trigger button, and then the other two that were located. I'm glad that fucking trigger device fucked up.
3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised. According to the same intelligence bulletin, surveillance footage, Molly, captured 3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised explosive devices. So certainly more to this investigation.
As later,
they
raided the man's home all the way over in Texas. Now, the news media has been walking back and forth on whether he was working with others planting devices around the area, but I don't automatically think conspiracy cover-up, as the media reports many things that are blatantly untrue. I don't believe a truck randomly drove itself onto Bourbon Street, so why would I believe anything else they initially report? As I saw on social media first, the man's alleged identity, where Viva Frei had found and posted his 4-year-old YouTube videos that have all since been deleted. As Joe Biden announced, he did
dirty deleting his everything
just before the attack.
That mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
Censorship coming back. Censorship on social media is going to get worse.
Desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack.
But quickly left taking no questions.
Have you spoken to President Trump? Will you visit Illinois? Have you spoken to President Trump?
Joe doesn't care. He's got
it's hard to determine what's real and what's not, but I'm inclined to believe that YouTube video was actually him, as why else would the platform immediately take it down, as they do have a bizarre habit of immediately scrubbing all their social media. Now, I don't want to immortalize a guy as somebody interesting, but I think we should be able to see exactly as causing these people to do extreme things to hopefully stop it from inspiring other people from doing the same, as coincidentally, or not coincidentally, hours later across the country, the Trump Hotel was also attacked, and initially people didn't know if it was on purpose. But Elon quickly confirmed it was definitely an attack, and not just a Cybertruck randomly malfunctioning, as they did find a large amount of fuel left behind. That apparently, the Cybertruck's build helped minimize the damage.
It looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blasts go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump Hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
And as of right now, no information has been released about the driver of the vehicle that apparently detonated the device outside the Trump Hotel. But judging by the imagery, Elon Musk's Cybertruck, Donald Trump's hotel, weeks before his second inauguration, I 100% believe this was done to send some sort of message, But honestly, it did the opposite, as likely the Cybertruck's sturdy construction protected everybody but the person carrying out the attack. But sadly, this likely won't be the last, as we're not even finished with New Year's Day, and we've already seen 2 significant attacks in our country. So let's hope for the best, but still prepare for the worst, as with the initial reporting in New Orleans and Las Vegas's investigative track record, I honestly doubt we'll know exactly what went down with either event. So hopefully we can cover something more lighthearted.
Oh, another situation in Vegas. No big deal. Media is pretty much downplaying the Vegas one now. Let's see what I got now. I think that's off of that topic for now. Now we're going to talk about... Oh, good. We're getting to some interesting stuff. So I got also online. We're going to talk about some Preds. Only 2 videos on Preds. Somebody asked me to look into the Pope, so I looked into the Pope. We're going to have stupid people, obviously stupid people. Muslims being pedos. Menus of early America. We can't wait to dive into that one. Star forts and Native Americans. I was kind of hoping Jilly would be here because she's a subject matter expert, but that's cool. And then, yeah. So let's get to the next video, guys. So, unfortunately, not all predators end up just talking to decoys. Some actually meet the children. We know it happens.
How old are you?
I'm 41.
Are you f***ing kidding me? You just turned 13 and he's 41. That is a pedophile.
Oh, I'm sure they freaking all had sex. Guaranteed.
How old's your friend?
18.
That girl's not 18?
Who knows what the hell is on? I don't even want to know what's on that phone because I'm going to want to go kill the son of a...
On July 5th, 2022, just after midnight, a New Mexico State Police sergeant noticed a silver truck crossing multiple lanes at once without signaling. As he pulls the driver over and approached the vehicle, little did he know that he was about to uncover a dark and twisted case. This report is based on police records, and while the initial traffic stop footage went viral in 2023, eWoo has uncovered more horrifying footage that explains the full extent of this disturbing case.
Who are these kids to you?
This is my friend.
That's your friend?
Yeah.
How old's your friend?
18.
That girl's not 18. Trust me. She don't look 18. Ma'am, how old are you? I didn't ask you your name. I asked you how old you were. Jeremy, turn the car off and come back here and talk to me.
All right.
As Jeremy steps out of the truck, the sergeant makes an alarming observation.
Why's your buttons down in your crotch?
Well, I probably just forgot. I'll button my zipper.
Yeah, please button your zipper.
Yeah. I mean, I had to take like a piss and
While Jeremy's forgetting to button his jeans could be due to the reason he described, later discoveries would put this moment into a horrifying new context.
I haven't been drinking.
Can you explain why I can smell from your breath every time you breathe? And talk to me?
What is that?
All those people in the car, who are they?
They're just my friends. I mean...
Do you normally hang out with people who are young?
Not.
How old are you?
I'm 41.
41? Okay. Hang tight right there, okay?
The sergeant returns to Jeremy's truck to get the children's information. Meanwhile, the other officer begins asking Jeremy more questions.
Go and take your hand out of your pocket, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to pat you down real quick, okay, bro? Just for weapons.
The officer discovers a knife in Jeremy's pocket and places it out of his reach.
So all these people who were coming from your house?
Like I said,
no, we went to go pick somebody up that,
Why? Because,
What was your original location before you drove to this spot right here?
That was my house.
So your house. So you're coming from your house, you're going to go pick someone up. Where's that person at?
They weren't there.
Oh, okay. So now where were you guys headed?
Headed back to the house.
At this point, the officer has little doubt that Jeremy is too intoxicated to drive, so he asks him to complete some sobriety tests. Before the test can begin, the officer must ask Jeremy some questions, but nothing could prepare him for his bizarre responses.
Do you got any traumatic brain injuries?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Why do you say possibly? It'd be a yes or a no.
How would you know such things?
The doctor would tell you. Do you got any problems walking, turning, or balancing?
Possibly.
Back at Jeremy's truck, the sergeant asked the children some basic questions, but they don't make this process easy.
How old are you? Don't lie to me. I mean, kid, like, I'm not gonna play the game where you lie. I know that you're not 18. Okay. So if you want to have attitude, you in the front. Okay. Yeah. We go about it another way.
The two female children still inside the truck are twin sisters. What the sergeant doesn't know is they have a disturbing connection with Jeremy. Meanwhile, the other officer asks Jeremy to do more tests, and he performs poorly on each of the physical assessments, leading the officer to conduct some alternative cognitive tests.
I'm going to have you recite the alphabet going forward from the letter H to the letter S. I want you to do that without singing the alphabet, okay? Do you got any questions with that?
Okay. So you want me to the letter H?
Yes.
To the letter S?
Yes.
H, I, 7.
Can you just
22.
Give me an example, please?
I'm not going to give you an example.
Since Jeremy didn't pass a single test without heavy assistance, the officers placed him under arrest. He was charged with 6 counts of felony child abuse, 2 driving offenses, and 2 alcohol-related offenses. But this is only the beginning of an incredibly dark and twisted investigation. Later that morning, 911 operators received a call from the grandmother of the twin girls who were in Jeremy's truck hours earlier. The twins revealed a secret so horrifying, it made their grandmother's blood run cold.
I need to make a report about sex crimes against kids. My 13-year-old granddaughter has been seeing a 41-year-old.
To protect the identity of the victim, we'll be referring to her as Jane.
That's her boyfriend. And then my other twin granddaughter says, well, he's old enough to buy alcohol. And then my other granddaughter's all, well, he's going to take care of me. Are you f***ing kidding me? You just turned 13 and he's 41. That is a pedophile.
The 911 operator quickly dispatches an officer to Rhonda's home to gather information on the accusations. From the moment their conversation begins, Rhonda is understandably upset.
I want to get him as a pedophile.
Yeah, okay. And who is he to them?
Cut, she met him off freaking Snapchat or Instagram. Whoop. Yeah. Trust me, I want to kill this son of a...
Okay. And what did they say? They say that
I'm going to get
both
it.
Of them are...
No, just one.
Just one?
Yep.
Okay.
Somehow, even though Jeremy was behind bars, he managed to borrow a guard's cell phone and contact one of the girls. One of them asked Jeremy to pick her up, only for him to ask how he was supposed to do that from jail. In another message, he asked them for money.
And I don't know if she had sex with him last night, but I know that that is her boyfriend. That she freaking takes off at 1 in the morning, 12 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. God, there's so many. And I tell them, I'm like, do you honestly think a grown man is going to take care of you? Like, they're pedophiles, you idiot.
Rhonda explains that her granddaughters, Jane and Jalen, and their 2 brothers are in the custody of their great-grandfather, Ron Campbell. The children's father had passed away earlier, and their mother lost custody of them due to her incarceration. The twins have a history of behavioral issues, including running away from home frequently. Rhonda believes they'd been with Jeremy during these times.
So they met on Snapchat.
I'm sure Snapchat is what I'm assuming.
Media.
Yes.
They've been together for a year.
Yep.
The officer steers the conversation back to what happened earlier that morning.
They went back to his place and
some apartment. So I'm sure they freaking all had sex, guaranteed. Okay. And the guy was drunk.
You said you had pictures
on. No, I have the cell phones. Okay. So I just need to. They're Apple phones. So I need to get into them. Yeah, they're locked.
How do you know there's pictures?
Because they send nude all the time.
Have you seen them, or how do you know there's sending pictures?
Yes, I have seen pictures before. So who knows what the hell is on? I don't even want to know what's on that phone because I'm going to want to go kill the son of a...
Oh, yeah, they were.
Since Jeremy is currently in jail, the police must urgently collect as much information as possible while he's being held. If he's released and finds out about the investigation, he could destroy any evidence connecting him to the victim. Rhonda requests the police obtain a search warrant for Jeremy's home multiple times.
I know that there's more and so I guarantee it. So just listen to me and get search warrants for frickin' everything.
Later, the children's great-grandmother, Mary Campbell, makes a call to the police to report that the twins told her about how the children ended up in Jeremy's car that night.
When they left the house on the 4th, they were just going to go up because Jalen is on house arrest. They asked if they could just walk around the block or walk up the block. And we had let them have one of their girlfriends over, and the girlfriend has had 3 guys that wanted to come too. So we had 6 kids here for fireworks. So they walked around the block, and that's when evidently Jalen called this man and asked him to come get him. Well, he loaded all 6 of those kids in the car, and they went evidently to his apartment.
Mary had asked the girls questions, and their unsettling answers further implicated Jeremy for child endangerment.
I said, "Sis, did y'all drink?" And she said, "Yeah, he gave us all alcohol. We all had shots."
After gathering as much background information as possible, detectives asked Jane to come in for a forensic interview. To ensure she's comfortable, Rhonda also sits in on the interview.
Is there anything between yourself and Jeremy that's on your phone? Whether it be text messages, videos, pictures?
For me and him to contact each other, we're just text.
Just text, okay.
On Snapchat?
Snapchat, and he would text me on Instagram.
Okay.
But I restricted his account and blocked him for a while.
When Jeremy contacted the girls from a jail guard's phone, they tried to call him, but he wouldn't answer. He asked them to pray for him and mentioned seeing them again once he's released. However, Rhonda then took over the message to taunt Jeremy, telling him to eat a honey bun. The messages stopped coming in when Jeremy was informed that police were investigating the case.
Do you remember whether or not...
In jail? Texting, sorry. That's crazy.
Anything, if he had sent you any videos or pictures to your phone?
He sent a picture of me to my phone.
Okay.
Off of his account on Instagram.
Okay, can you tell me about that picture?
He did, after he did to me, it was just a picture after.
Was there clothes on or no clothes?
No clothes.
Okay.
Did he send that to you or did he just show you?
He sent that to me.
Okay.
But he didn't send the video that he took.
Tell me about a video.
Jane goes on to describe how Jeremy sexually assaulted her and made a video and took a photograph of it. Jane can't bring herself to describe to the detective what was happening in the video, so he offers her a pen and paper to write the distressing information down instead.
The picture that he had sent you, was it a picture from that situation that night?
Not from the DWI night. That was a different night.
Okay, I'm sorry. But the night that with what you wrote down was the picture of that situation?
There's so many situations. There's 5 or 6.
At the end of Jane's interview, she provides the detective with the names of Jeremy's social media accounts. Immediately after, the detective interviews Rhonda alone. He begins by asking what her granddaughters allegedly told her about what happened. Incredibly, Rhonda is about to reveal that her granddaughter was not Jeremy's only victim, and the other victim's story is equally appalling. However, we haven't been able to verify any of these statements.
There was another girl, her mom has no idea that he sexually assaulted her at the hotel. He would park on dirt roads to have sex with her. I have a feeling this is the tip of the iceberg.
Unexpectedly, Jalen has a different opinion about Jeremy despite what he did to her sister.
He's a nice guy, don't press charges against him. What the hell? And I was like, why is she sticking up for him? And then she wanted her phone so bad. And I was like, there's something, my gut is telling me there is something on the phone. There's something more to this crap. Went in there, tried to get the phone, and she fought us like crazy. We got the phone. The crap that was on that phone, I just about fell over.
Although the police had Jalen's phone, they were unable to unlock it to access the data. Without this phone, they'd have no physical evidence of the text between Jeremy and the victims. When the detectives asked for Jane and Rhonda's assistance, the pair crafted a plan to get Jalen's password.
Yo.
Yo.
I got your phone. What's your password so I can go delete it? What's your password to your phone so I can go delete it?
Smart.
Your phone password.
He's done.
Deleting your thing. What do you mean you're deleting everything? Do not delete my Snapchat.
Alarmingly, both victims created explicit content on their phones, but it's unknown whether Jalen ever sent any of those to Jeremy. While both girls deleted most of the explicit content from their phones, the police were able to recover several months' worth of data. Rhonda relayed several graphic messages to the detective, clearly repulsed by what she'd read.
I took the phone because I knew there were on there, and I just had that instinct.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what was going to be on that phone.
According to the police report, Jeremy sent Jalen dozens of disturbing messages where he propositions her, even after she clearly stated her disinterest. Despite knowing she's a minor, Jeremy offers her a drink, but she refuses, stating that she doesn't want to be addicted to drinking again. In other instances, he repeatedly expressed his love for her, threatened to beat up any boys who flirted with her, and invited her to drink alcohol with him, among other things. Tragically, this was only scratching the surface, as there was one more monumental secret that Jane had hidden from Rhonda. Shockingly, Jane had also become pregnant at 12 with Jeremy's child.
It started off those months ago that she was had a miscarriage. She was pregnant.
12.
I didn't know that he was in his 40s. She called my daughter Presley, her aunt, and said she thought she was having a miscarriage. It came out. She sent my daughter the picture of the fetus. That was Jeremy's baby. She flushed it down the toilet, and she said she gave herself a miscarriage.
And as far as that pregnancy, is there any paperwork from the hospital?
Nope, nothing at all.
Frightfully, the detective learns there's a chance that pregnancy was not the only one.
Last time she had sex with him was about 3 weeks ago. She thinks she could be pregnant again. I bought her 3 pregnancy tests. 2 were negative, 1 might be positive. He used no protection.
According to the police report, when Jane's Aunt Presley was interviewed by the detective, she shared that Jane told her the father was a white boy from school. According to Rhonda, neither Jane's mother nor the aunt ever took Jane to the hospital to receive medical care following her miscarriage. While at first Jane told Rhonda that no one else was aware of the pregnancy, she later revealed this was untrue. Jane had told Jeremy, and his reaction was utterly disconcerting.
There are messages that he wanted a little girl, and he was happy she was pregnant. So you will find that on his phone because he doesn't really.
With Jane's testimony and the evidence from her and Jalen's cell phones, the police were able to arrest Jeremy again after he was released from jail for his DWI charge. He declined to answer any questions from the police and asked for a lawyer. In December 2023, Jeremy was convicted of criminal sexual penetration of a child under the age of 13 and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. On August 5, 2024, he was sentenced to 36 years in prison and will be required.
Yo, I remember doing the video where he got arrested for that DUI. I didn't know there was fucking more to it. Well, updates are always fucking crazy. And this dude, 36 years? Hopefully it's 36 years of getting his asshole, stretched to when he farts. It sounds like, nothing. His asshole's open so wide. Or what happens if you get stabbed?
Man, don't be scared, man. Turn the fuck around.
Monster, beware people.
You out there touching them kids and shit. I didn't do that. Man, turn the fuck around, bro. Quit being scary. Turn around. What's wrong with you? Y'all, a lot. Y'all see that shit? That what the pedophile look like. Back up, man. Back the fuck up.
Dude, just chill.
It was a little girl, a little boy. What it was? What's your name? He was a little girl. What's your name? Give your full name. What's your name? You sitting there looking at me, stupid bitch. I'm a...
Hey, chill.
What's your name is?
Trevor.
Trevor what?
It's Trevor.
Trevor what?
Morris.
Y'all said a little boy, a little girl. Little boy, a little girl. What it was?
I don't want to talk.
What it was?
A damn potty trading video.
You recording fucking bitch?
What?
Boy, you was a weirdo.
No, it's not like that.
What it was like then? What they did?
Dude, you're making me anxious as hell right now.
I don't give a fuck.
Anxious
to do what?
Huh?
Anxious to do what?
Not to do anything.
Beat the fuck out you. Potty train watching them shit.
It's not like that.
I know it was. You were jacking off while you watching that video.
No.
The Pope is...
He's not having a very good time. He was stabbed over 40 times. And he's now dead. 40 times. And this video was taken, shortly before that. That's what you get, motherfucker. You want to have child porn and sexual misconduct with children? You get this. I like it. I like it. Now let's get into portals. Kind of portals? I guess Catholic portals.
The Pope is supposedly opening 5 portals on Christmas Day. Now, I know this video is a bit late.
Not by 5 portals. There's all these holy doors. Whatever the fuck they want to call them. There's 5 of them. 5 different buildings. I don't know if he opened up all 5 buildings that day, but I know he opened up this one specifically. It's the prison door. And that's actually not the Pope opening the door because the Pope's in a fucking wheelchair.
To be commenting on what I think this symbolism and this ritual truly means and what they are trying to do to society with this symbolic ritual. So the first thing we must understand is that everything these people do on a mass scale, all of these major events that they take place on, are all symbolic. They're all ritual. They all have purpose. Okay? So when we look at the locations of these 5 doors that are in Rome, we actually see the sigil of Lucifer when we connect the dots of all of the 5 door locations. This is the sigil of Lucifer. Lucifer is not what you think. Sigil of Lucifer represents the outline of the human brain and our visual perception field. Now, the human perception field is how our brain interacts with the external reality. Our external reality is not physical. The only thing that exists outside of you is pure energy. Formless, vibrational energy and light. Your brain is an energy decelerator. Your brain decelerates this light, this energy, into a material reality or perception that you can interact with. You don't look into the external world. The energy, the light, enters the eye retinas, goes through the optic nerve, and travels to the back of the brain called the visual cortex. And the visual cortex is what shapes your visual screen. Now, if you are seeing the screen, this means that you are not the body, you are not the brain. You are the perception observing the screen that you are seeing. You are the eye behind that. You are the person behind that. So, what this is actually symbolizing is perception. This is a symbol of perception, of perceiving the material plane, of how spirit interacts with matter. Now, what's Lucifer? Now, the word Lucifer means the light bearer. He's known as the light bearer. The word Lucifer originates in Latin. Luci means light, and fer means to bring. It's the light bringer. The eyes, the visual perception of the light bringer to your reality. You see, everything outside of you is light. You are made of light. The word human means light. Hue means color, which is a form of light. And man means manifest. We're light manifested into material form. Every single one of us is Lucifer. When we fall for the material world, the external world, is an illusion. It is the false world.
What if you're a material girl in a material world? Huh? Huh? All right.
Elude you. It can make you fall in love with the material things, material pleasures, lust, money, fame. These things make you fall. This is the fall of Lucifer. This is the mythological story. This is the symbolism behind Lucifer. It's you. Are you falling for material pleasure because you are a divine spiritual being from the higher planes, not from this plane? Now, if you let your divine being fall for this material plane and fall for the evil that can take place in this plane, then you are Lucifer. It represents the false light, the false reality. This symbol, the sigil of Lucifer, it symbolizes the interplay between light, consciousness, and the perceptual experience of the physical reality. The external world is truly internal. What we visually perceive is essentially light waves carrying information.
So, think about it. What if this visual cortex thing, what if people that see the world clearly, obviously we're not doing the fucking Lucifer lights, but people that fall in line and seem to think, obviously material things. I don't know. Which one would really be Lucifer? The people that see reality? The thing is, everything's your reality, but when a lot of people see the same reality, it tends to be, oh, never mind.
It gets processed by our brain, the central computer of our nervous system. Okay? So, how many doors are open? 5 doors. So 5 is the number of perception as well. 5 fingers on each hand. 5 points on the human body.
Well, sacred numbers like 3, 6, and 9. I'm kind of curious why 5 is what we have. Do things really have a meaning? I don't know. Maybe they do. Martians have 4 fingers. Right? That's what Total Recall told us.
5 toes on each foot. We have 5 senses. 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're spiritual numbers. 6, 7, 8, and 9, they're material numbers. 5's the gateway. 5 is the middle bridge of how our spiritual self interacts with the physical self, how spirit interacts with matter. So this ritual is symbolic of perception. This is maybe bringing in a new perception. A new event will happen after this. A new perception of the world. Or, personally, I think this ritual was to obviously shape the collective consciousness. Because your reality is an externalization of your inner consciousness. It's simply just a mirror. Your material life, your material world outside of you is simply a mirror reflecting with mathematical and geometric precision of your internal consciousness. Your consciousness is creating and causing the effect called reality, physical reality. Your life is a result of every thought you thought in the past. Therefore, with that being said, everyone who perceives this ritual of, the Pope's opening 5 spiritual portals, who's letting in demonic energy into the world, they're going to let demonic energies and demonic spirits all in the world. Well, what if I told you the only...
Maybe. Suddenly we're having all these ISIS-inspired attacks. Yeah, I did air quotes.
The portal they're opening is a portal in your own mind for negativity.
Oh.
By you believing in negative forces coming into the world and gonna possess everyone. That's opening up your own mind. The collective spiritual community has been brainwashed in thinking there's going to be demonic energy. Therefore, what will happen? There will be demonic energy. Not because the Pope opened up a portal to the demonic energy, it's because everyone opened up their own minds to the demonic energy. Therefore, we as a collective consciousness shape the external world on a macrocosm scale. For example, the microcosm is your personal life. Your personal life. You have created it through consciousness. Your belief system is just externalized in your world. But on a collective scale, we all believe in money, for example. And because we all believe in money, and we believe that this piece of paper holds value in our minds.
I don't.
Okay, in the mental plane. This has an effect on the physical plane by shaping the physical plane by being ruled by this belief. As on a macrocosm scale. Yes, I know that money doesn't exist. It's just a belief in my mind. But that doesn't have an effect because the collective consciousness believes that money has effect, has power. When it doesn't, it's just a piece of paper with a belief behind it. If the collective consciousness stopped believing in money, then the collective consciousness would have broke the spell and we would have no longer had a material plane ruled by money. You see, our beliefs is ruling and shaping our physical plane. This physical world outside of you is truly just an effect of the mind, an effect of our consciousness, our inner world. So I believe this ritual was done to change our perception, to make us think the Pope is bringing this spiritual energy and negative forces into the world. And it's just simply us creating the negativity in the world by believing in this, by thinking this.
So when I picked that one, I thought it was kind of weird because it makes you think, this dude, I don't know, it's just, by explaining it the way he explained it, he didn't really explain it. He was basically saying the whole 10 minutes, hey, it's whatever you perceive as reality. Right, so the Pope opening the door is reality? Letting everybody wake up? We all know this Pope and previous popes have been corrupt. Right, Benedict? And here's another ideology that came out.
As we approach the end, the signs and events become increasingly evident, as if a veil is being lifted, revealing a reality that has always been before us, but that many have chosen to ignore. Ancient prophecies, which once seemed distant or symbolic, begin to fit with unsettling precision into current events. The scriptures speak of times when the deception will be so great that even the wisest will be lost. Wars, rumors of conflicts, famine, pestilence, earthquakes in different places, all of this is already before our eyes. But what is most alarming is not just the natural or social phenomena, but the speed with which everything seems to be converging to a single point. As the days pass, the signs become clearer to those who wish to see. There is no longer any way to escape the reality that we are living in prophetic times. Each event, no matter how small it may seem, carries a greater message. And what remains for humanity? Be attentive, seek discernment, and prepare. For, as it is written, the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. 1 Thessalonians 5:02. And the closer we are to the end, the clearer the path becomes for those who have eyes to see. In recent days, a video has attracted a lot of attention on social media. In it, Pope Francis appears in a wheelchair, clearly weakened by health problems, opening a huge door while being guided by 2 bishops into an imposing hall. The scene, which could seem simple, ended up stirring the imagination of many people. Many claim that this gesture may be linked to apocalyptic events, even suggesting the arrival of the Antichrist. Many devout altar Christians claim. Before we move forward, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video. Every day we bring new content about prophecies and the prophetic events that are unfolding around us. And of course, some people believe that this image is not just an ordinary moment, but rather part of something much larger, perhaps even a symbolic ritual. There are those who say that this would be a sign of preparation for the arrival of the Antichrist. The position of Pope Francis, already involved in several controversies due to his stances and decisions, caused him to be associated with theories about the advancement of a possible new world order.
The LGBT.
History repeats. The gigantic door, the solemn way he is led, all of this raised unsettling questions. Are we seeing an event with prophetic significance? Could Pope Francis, with his much-discussed figure, be part of a larger plan that few can see?
No.
Doubts grow and many wonder. Is this just a symbolic gesture or a milestone of something much deeper and darker? The Vatican has always been surrounded by mysteries and dark theories that fuel the popular imagination. From its secret archives, located deep within its domains, to the mysterious objects it keeps. Relics of a past that many believe condemn the very history of the Catholic Church. These speculations only reinforce the idea that the Vatican is an epicenter of intrigue and secrets. Among the most persistent theories is the supposed connection with the Illuminati, a group that, according to conspiracy theories, seeks absolute control of humanity. This connection would be aligned with the advancement of a new world order, with the Vatican being the stage where, one day, the Antichrist would be presented to the world. There are also rumors that some clerics maintain a friendly relationship with this prophetic figure, making the scenario even more unsettling. Pope Francis, of course, is not immune to these allegations. He has been labeled the false prophet, or even associated with the role of Antichrist himself. Their perceived liberal attitudes, especially toward conservative traditions, only fuel these controversies. The criticism comes mainly from more traditional members of the Church, who accuse him of acting against biblical teachings. One of his most controversial initiatives was to weaken the power of Opus Dei, a conservative Catholic organization present in more than 60 countries, including Brazil. Opus Dei, a personal prelature of the Catholic Church, is a legal structure with a clear objective: to promote the evangelizing mission of the Church in people's daily lives. Its essence is inspired by the teachings of its founder, Saint José María Escrivá, who believed in the transformative power of daily work. He said that work is a path to sanctification, both personally and for those who are touched by it. However, the attempt to limit Opus Dei's influence is seen by many as an attack on the Church's conservative values, deepening internal divisions. Meanwhile, the Vatican continues to be a scene of mysteries, power struggles, and theories. But where does the Holy Door fit into this story? This door, full of symbolism, is part of an ancient ritual of the Catholic Church, representing the path to redemption and forgiveness. However, his image has been surrounded by dark theories that go beyond its spiritual meaning. For some, it is not just a tradition, but a symbolic portal linked to dark forces or catastrophic events. Conspiracy theories involving religious symbols and apocalyptic prophecies are nothing new. These narratives have been circulating for centuries, mixing fear and fascination, especially when it comes to elements as emblematic as the Holy Door. Some believe it could mark a moment of drastic change for humanity, while others see it as just part of a harmless ritual. In the Bible, we find several mentions of portals, but no direct reference to a holy door as an essential element for salvation. In John 10, Jesus makes it clear that he is the true door. I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved. John chapter 10, verse.
You guys know the Vatican has never burned down? Not once. With everything changing in the world, major buildings burning down, the Vatican's still there.
Verse 9. This statement centers salvation solely on Christ, rejecting any idea that symbolic ceremonies or rituals, such as opening a physical door, are necessary to achieve redemption. This raises an important question. What is really happening when we see rituals like these in the religious world? Although the idea of a holy door has no biblical basis, Scripture mentions spiritual portals, both divine and demonic, revealing spiritual realities that transcend our understanding. Divine portals, Genesis 28:12. In Jacob's vision, he sees a ladder connecting heaven and earth, with angels ascending and descending. This is a clear example of a divine portal where the presence of God was evident. Jacob even exclaimed, "How terrible this place is! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven." In this context, the portal served as a direct link to divine glory, pointing to God's sovereignty and his interaction with humanity. Demonic portals, Revelation 9:01-3. Not all spiritual portals are benign. In Revelation 9, we see a disturbing description of a demonic portal being opened. He was given the key to the bottomless pit. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke rose up like that from a great furnace. Revelation 9:02. This portal brought destruction and terror, releasing evil forces upon the earth, symbolizing a moment of divine judgment and intense spiritual battle. When practices such as opening a holy door are performed, it is crucial to evaluate their intentions and implications. The Bible warns us against acts that take the focus away from Christ and place emphasis on objects or rituals. Salvation has never been and will never be based on symbolic acts or human ceremonies, but exclusively on the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. For this reason, God's presence was vital to the church from day. Spiritual portals, whether divine or demonic, represent deep and powerful spiritual realities. However, to attribute saving significance to a physical door is...
See, both of the issues with that, which, I got from that, is it's all based off religion. And, if you believe in yin and yang, why can't the Antichrist walk the earth? And what the fuck's the Antichrist going to do that, Jesus did? Jesus didn't really have any powers. What's the Antichrist going to do? Change wine back into water? Huh? Get the fuck out of here. So that was a big nothing burger. Now we're going to switch from one religion to another religion. And let's just say it's gross.
Who are they who have not yet menstruated?
It doesn't say yet.
So what? Let's read again. Pregnant women?
Yes, pregnant.
So you're saying pregnant women haven't menstruated is what you're saying.
Yes.
So in other words, to save Islam, you now need to become primitive, backward, and deny even basic scientific knowledge. That's what you have to do right now, yeah? Islam is a pedophilia ring. We're dealing with that. Islam is not just a sex cult. No, this is serious. Islam is not just a death cult, not just a sexual sex cult. It is also a pedophilia sex cult. We're dealing with some very serious issue right now. When did you really wake up that you suddenly realized 6-year-old children are eligible to be married? Where did you get this idea from? How old was Muhammad, by the way, at that time?
I have no idea because
But you're a Muslim,
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Yes.
I don't know how old he was at the time, but he was older.
Very old man.
Okay, let's see.
It's a terrible sex ring. You're a Muslim, so please tell me, sir, why is this? Why is Islam not a sex cult? Please explain.
Because, as Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, right, you can only have intercourse when you're married.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know that in Islam you can marry your daughter-in-law?
You can marry your cousin, yes.
Daughter-in-law.
You can marry your cousin, yes.
Daughter-in-law. Do you understand the word daughter-in-law?
You're a liar. Well, we'll prove it.
Do you? Oh, okay. So are you saying the Islam doesn't talk about marrying daughter-in-law? Is that what you're saying? According to the Quran, do you know you can marry your daughter-in-law?
That's a lie.
According to the Quran, do you know you can marry a prepubescent child?
You're lying.
Prepubescent
No,
child.
it's
Can
true.
you marry?
You can marry your cousin.
Prepubescent child. Can you marry?
You can marry your cousin.
According to Islam, do you know that you can marry 4 women at a time? Do you know?
Yes.
Oh.
You know this, yeah? And according to Islam, do you know that you can marry a prepubescent child?
You can't.
No, you can't?
You can't.
So the Quran doesn't. So if we read that, what would you do?
It has to be, it's not in the...
It's not in the Quran. So Surah, if we take Surah 65,
Yeah.
I think 65, let's see.
Jesus married 3-year-old. Moses married.
Look, I told you, the longer you stay
3-year-old.
here, medicine
married
will
a
help you. So
3-year-old?
please move on. Please move on.
You tell lies,
No,
lies.
no, 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 no.
Lies.
Mary Magdalene was 3 years old?
Because Muhammad married a 9-year-old.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about the Quran right now.
The Quran itself.
No one has a clue if even Muhammad existed. So no, don't talk about Muhammad. I'm talking about the Quran right
Muhammad
now.
was there, and according to the Roman scriptures, in their scriptures, they wrote about Muhammad's people.
Which Roman scripture wrote about
You
Muhammad?
can see...
Anyway, let's read this first and then we'll talk about other nonsense later.
Okay, where? Let me-
So,
Where?
Surah 65.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the name of Surah? What's the name of Surah?
Surah Al-Talaq.
Okay, Surah Al-Talaq. I'll get it in Arabic, the original. Okay, which verse?
65 ayah 4.
Wait, you have to read it in Arabic?
Okay, here it says.
Interesting.
Okay, which...
Surah 65 ayah 4.
يأسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3
So we can't read English.
واللائي لم يحضن وأولات الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن
Why are you wasting your time on him? No, he is an afraid man. Can you see him wearing sunglasses on this day? So you know already he is terribly afraid. He doesn't want to show his eyes even today.
He's saying we can marry pubescent children in the Quran.
Prepubescent. It's not just you can marry, you can even divorce them. Prepubescent child you can divorce. Let's read. He doesn't know how to read.
The Quran word of Allah first.
Okay. He doesn't know how to read, so ignore. 65.
He doesn't believe that. I don't need to.
Surah, you can read, can't you? You can read. Surah 65, ayah 4. What did you read?
Okay. ولم يحضن وأولات الأحمال أجلهن
Commit translation.
If you've taken dope, yeah, watch Zakir Naik, please.
Okay.
65 4. What does it say?
Okay.
1 second, sir. Let's.
Here.
65. Excuse me, sir. Pay attention here. We are dealing with the sex cult pedophilia ring. Yeah, please. Those who no longer expect, please.
Okay,
You know, what does it say? Those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months. And those who have not menstruated. So, no, you don't have to tell. You were afraid earlier. Please stay quiet. The gentleman is reading now. So, it's talking about divorce, the time you wait for divorcing.
Yes.
And he's saying those who haven't menstruated. Who are those who haven't menstruated?
Okay, it is the
Maybe
woman.
after wish اسمه هذاك.
No, it is the,
Which
it is
comes
the
out-
woman that around 12 to 15. If you look at the period age, it's around 12 to 15.
He is speaking. He is the one who has read the verse. He is speaking right
Okay.
now.
Problem is English little bit.
He has wonderful English.
look-
Don't
if
worry.
you look at the
Your
period-
English is terrible. Please wait there, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
The woman-
it's saying.
I'm telling the women, they menstruate from the age of 12
Please,
to
please.
15.
ذاكر نايك. Yeah.
Age
Can you
12
see,
to
can you
15.
see his back?
Yeah.
Do you think he knows anything? Do you think he knows anything? He looks a bit clueless, doesn't he? Please, you
ذاكر نايك. You know the truth, but you hide it.
The cafe is there. Please go. Get some coffee, please.
Allah
Warm your body. Warm your body.
Allah say that. You know the truth. Islam is the truth. Religion.
We are trying to advance. We're not regressing. We're trying to advance. Please, stay focused. Please.
You know the truth,
Okay.
guys.
Yes, I know the truth. Zakir Naik is confused, mentally ill, in an asylum somewhere. I'll come and help him later, please.
This verse
He's in an
doesn't say
asylum?
anything about
Like it?
marrying pubescent children.
Let's read. So Surah Al-Talaq. What does the word talaq mean?
talaq, divorce.
Yeah. So this is a chapter which deals with how to divorce people. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what the chapter is about. Now, it's now giving you the timeline for divorcing. And while giving the timeline for divorcing, in the middle of that, now it provides some specific cases. In verse 4, Surah 65, verse 4, it says, those who no longer expect menstruation, you know, those who are old, very old, they don't expect menstruation anymore among your women, then in their case, you need to wait for 3 months. Yeah. If you doubt, then their period is 3 months. And those who have not menstruated. Now, who among women are not yet menstruated? Who are they?
No, it is
you tell me, sir.
It is women.
Yeah, you stay quiet, sir. You're a bit confused, please.
But if they haven't menstruated in 3 months, that means they're pregnant.
It is regarding of the woman. Okay, after divorcing, they need to wait for 3 months.
Excuse me, sir. Please answer my question. Who are those who haven't menstruated yet? Who are they?
The women that are pregnant. It says.
No, please stay focused. Answer my question.
He's answering the
Who are
question.
they who haven't yet menstruated?
Pregnant women.
Are you listening right now?
Yeah.
Are you reading
Listen to me. Every word is important, please. Every word is important. Once, please listen to my question carefully. Who are they who have not yet menstruated?
Tell him, listen.
It doesn't say yet.
So what? Let's read again.
Here,
So
this
deal
one.
to wait. Let's
This
read.
one. That translation might be false. I don't know. But this translation, look. And
Excuse me, sir. Are you saying Sahih International is not the Quran? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that translation might be.
No, wait a
Yeah, I
second.
think
Do
that
you know what the
translation, or his
Sahih International
interpretation's off.
translation?
Wait, yes.
No, he is confused here, please.
Because to understand the Quran, it must be read in its original Arabic form. And these English.
Okay, let me please help me understand.
I'm
So,
telling you.
One second.
Look at this one. I have the translation here.
One second. Look, what we'll do two things now.
Let me explain.
One second.
Okay, let me
No,
explain.
whoa. Excuse me, sir. Wait. We're going to do two things right now. Okay?
Which is?
I'm going to read the English again, and then I'm going to show you the Arabic word for word translation. Yeah, so you don't have any place to hide. Yeah. Now tell me. I asked you a question earlier. You haven't answered it. It talks about those who have not menstruated. And I asked you a question earlier. He is afraid, so he doesn't answer. Is that your friend?
I'll answer.
Those who have not menstruated yet, who are they?
Pregnant women.
Yeah.
Okay, listen to me again.
That's why it says 3 months.
Maybe you're not hearing the entire statement.
Women have periods. Pregnant women.
Okay. Menstruated. Those who have not menstruated.
That's all you're reading, bro.
Okay. Pregnant women?
Yes, pregnant.
So you're saying pregnant women haven't menstruated is what you're
Read the
saying?
whole sentence again.
So in other words, to save Islam, you now need to become primitive, backward, and deny even basic scientific knowledge. That's what you have to do right now, yeah? Excuse me, sir, please listen.
That's a terrible
Now,
verse to go off
Your
of.
friend is helping now. What
'Cause
he is
this is
saying
not-
is, he is essentially implying to save the Quran, we have to deny scientific knowledge, have to act a little bit foolish, and have to essentially walk around like someone who doesn't have a clue. That's what he is doing right now. Even though he could make sense. My point I'm saying is very simply, if anyone knows, my dear friend, please stay.
Let him.
Yeah, absolutely. The gentleman. Are you a Muslim also, sir?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Please join in. We're dealing with how Islam is a pedophilia ring. We're dealing with that. Islam is not just a sex cult. No, this is serious. Islam
I believe
is
it's a
not
pedophilia
just a
ring,
death
but
cult,
that verse,
not just
I don't think it is.
sexual sex cult. It is also a pedophilia sex cult. We're dealing with some very serious issue right now.
What's pedophilic about Islam?
Well,
Yeah, I know
if you
Muhammad's
want to get
supposedly like
married to
underage
someone who
women.
hasn't had menstruation yet, which is a baby, a child, and you dare even to go on to talk about divorcing her, this is not just a pedophilia ring. This is an extremely abusive pedophilia ring.
Give me an example of someone marrying a prepubescent child.
Well, do you really
Muhammad.
need an example? Are you serious?
Give me an example. Give me an example.
How about thinking about someone who married a 6-year-old?
In Arabic society, you don't see these things happening.
In Arabic, who
You
was
don't?
Muhammad then? Was he Arabic or was he French?
I'm saying in current
In the Arabic society, you don't see pedophiles?
society, do you see?
No, wait.
I think it's 9 years old in Iraq.
Yes.
Was he part of the Arabic society?
Okay. Yes.
Did he get married to a 6-year-old?
He didn't. It was
He
a
did not.
9-year-old.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. No, no, no.
You
You no, whoa, whoa, whoa. You would deny the obvious. So, my dear friends, how many?
Let me reply to you.
Yeah,
Let me reply to you.
Now.
Okay. You're saying it's a. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
You have the right to reply because we're dealing with a serious problem. You are on the dock. We are dealing with pedophilia, so we need to give you right of reply, please. Yeah, go
Okay. So I was talking about the Arab current society. If you want to speak about the past, in the past, women were different. It was normal in that time.
In the past?
Yes.
Yeah.
1400 years ago is not the same as now.
Yeah, not even the Muslims were.
6-year-old child.
Yep, the Muslims weren't the
1400
only
years
one
old.
doing
What
it.
was she? Superwoman?
When the woman hit the age of puberty, yeah,
that's when
she's okay to get married.
Yes.
At those times,
Like Alabama.
At those times, yeah,
women
it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, okay, things have been changed. Women get the age of puberty.
Are you hearing right now? Please listen here, please. You see, earlier, to justify something really terrible and wicked, he had to act like he didn't have a clue. Now he has to act as if he is a liar. What did we read here? Prepubescent. Those who have not menstruated. What is the term? Is that pubescent or prepubescent? What is that?
Before that.
If you haven't menstruated it, good. So that's prepubescent. So don't even talk about prepubescent. Okay, now two things. I'm going to ask you two specific questions, yeah? Number one, Islam is not just a regular pedophilia ring. It's a terrible pedophilia ring in that it wants to get married to prepubescent children and want to divorce them. Number one. Number two, the second question is, when did you really wake up that you suddenly realized 6-year-old children are eligible to be married? Where did you get this idea from? How old
No,
is
I was looking at the minimum age limits to get married, right? Let me pull it up on the screen so y'all can see it too. Because this about to get interesting when you see this. So 51 states, I'm assuming they mean by 51 they mean DC. So a good majority of states with parental consent, the age is 18. Wow. Indiana, you can get married with parental consent at 17. For Arkansas, Indiana, Nebraska, and a bunch of other states. In Nebraska, with no age of consent, you have to be 18 years old. Or 19 years old. 19 years old. You see that? So let's keep going down. Oh, now we're in the 16th. Oh, good. Alabama changed, but still bad. It went too far. Okay. Oh. But parental consent is not required in Alabama if they were previously married. That's pretty fucking weird, if you ask me. Let's scroll down. 16s. And then we go down to Wyoming. Not Wyoming, Hawaii. 15, minimum age to get married. Parental consent or judge action required. So you can go against your parents' wishes and get a judge to do it. Missouri, it's 15. It's getting lower. Massachusetts, it's 14 with parental consent or permission from a judge. Now here's where it's fucked up. California and Mississippi, with parental consent, no age limit. No age limit. That's fucking insane. What's up, Rockstar? Hope you had a good New Year's as well, brother. God damn, 2 states, there's no minimum age limit. That's fucking sick. Laura, good to see you. Coming from our neighbor to the 51st state up north.
was Muhammad, by the way, at that time?
I have no idea because
But you're a Muslim, you're...
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Yes, yes. Okay. So look, he is looking at you. He is trying to see if you would help.
Okay, wait,
Look at him.
I don't know how old he was at the time, but he was older.
Very old, very old, very old man.
Okay, let's say.
It's a terrible sex ring.
Okay, let's say that was old. This young woman, did she go through puberty?
6-year-old child? You tell me.
Yeah.
When on earth did anyone who is 6-year-old had puberty? When?
No. Long time ago.
Look.
How do you know the biological state of women back then?
Let me ask you.
It's different.
Let me ask you.
It's not the same.
Let me ask you. How old are you?
17.
You are 17, yeah? When you were 6-year-old, what did you want to do?
I don't know.
You tell me, please. When you were
Not
6-year-old,
get
what did
married.
you want to do? Where did you live?
Watch TV.
Do you remember roughly?
Exactly like he's trying to do. Okay.
I'm trying to make sense. Don't listen.
Okay. He's trying to do for you to tell him that a 6-year-old is normal to play video games. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Look.
Yes.
Now,
This is exactly
There you go.
Is that what you're trying to do? Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Please. Please. Excuse me, sir. Look, please. I am a Christian. This is a very serious subject.
Let him finish.
Please don't joke with me around this, okay?
Wait.
A 6-year-old child. Look, please. Listen, please listen.
We're just talking
Please
here.
listen. Please
Go
listen.
ahead.
I know. But instead of dealing with the serious issue and agreeing that this is in fact a pedophilia ring, you're now trying to escape by mocking and joking.
Again,
Not a
the
good
one
idea.
scripture he picked out, he's misinterpreting it. It's sad.
Not at all.
Excuse me, sir. How old are you, sir?
I'm 30.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
How old? Do you have any girl?
Yes.
How old is your girl? One of your girls.
3 years old.
3 years old.
Yes.
In 3 years, in 3 more years, I don't even want to make it personal to you, you know. Because in my mind, talking about a 6-year-old getting married is abominable. So I don't even want you to feel uncomfortable when I ask a question. In 3 years, would you like your child to be taken away as a bride by someone? You see? That's how terrible it is.
Now, let's start about 6 years old, right?
Yeah.
6 years old, yeah. Habib, tell me like if I'm wrong, brother.
Speak to me, please speak to me.
Why'd you call him Habib?
A 6-year-old child, do you have any evidence that at any point in history, a 6-year-old child was a woman worthy of getting married, especially to a very old man?
Now, before Becker time, yeah, way back, it was 6 years old when if a girl hit the age of puberty, it's okay to get married.
I'm asking a specific question.
But not 6 years old.
Do you have, one second, please, no, excuse me, sir, one second. Do you know of any culture at any point, please listen to my question carefully. Do you know of any culture at any point in time for which you have the record to suggest a 6-year-old child was ready to get married to an old man? Any record anywhere?
Any record?
Yeah.
In the time of history? Yes.
Any historical evidence? Because you're living in a delusionary world that you're saying something happened like this in the past. I'd like you to give me some historical record for that.
Historical record for that?
Yeah.
There is no historical record for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that I'm aware of it.
Sure.
But as I know, as if a female hit the age
No, if
of...
you don't have historical record, please wait. If you don't have historical...
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Okay, good.
I don't.
Sure.
But if a female hit the age of puberty, she's allowed to get married.
Didn't the Romans like underage boys?
Child. See, wait, I'm talking about 6-year-old. I don't know why you're desperate about puberty. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking you. 6-year-old.
I'm asking you a question. Are you saying a 6-year-old child can't go through puberty?
Excuse me.
No.
Answer it.
I'm listening.
Yes, sir.
I'm answering right now. Please listen. Please listen. I'm answering right now. I am dealing with serious issues in life, and you want to play pub quiz. Do I know? Don't I know? Please listen. 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 Please listen.
I'm tired of this guy.
If anyone were to come
This
to me,
motherfucker's just retarded. Yes, I believe there's pedophiles in Muslims. I believe there's pedophiles in Catholics, Christians, Baptists. Latter-day Saints, Seventh-day Adventists. Did I forget anybody? If I didn't remember you, then good. But that scripture is pretty off. Well, not scripture. The one he picked is a huge misinterpretation because he's only reading that one little section where they have not yet menstruated. If you read the question before, or right before it, it says if they are pregnant, if they have 3 months, no menstruation. Fuck the Jews. Anyway, that was Muslims. So what happens when we get a bunch of American young Americans, young scholars, young future leaders of America, and what their outlook on life is going to be?
What year did America declare its independence?
Girl, July 1st, 1989.
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
Love Christopher, don't know. I mean, I'm done. Don't
Christopher, was it 1976?
How many years make up a century?
Isn't it 1,000?
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
2000. I was in Korea.
The 1800s, I'm assuming? I don't know.
Who was the last president of the 1990s?
1990s?
Bill Clinton.
I actually have no idea. Nixon?
What year was Barack Obama elected president?
I don't even know.
What
2008,
century
I
are
was
we
in Iraq.
currently living in?
Let's just go 50th century. I don't know.
Happy New Year's, everybody. We are here in Miami. We're asking people New Year's Eve trivia questions. Let's see how many they can get right.
All right, Laura. Yeah, Jeff. Happy New Year to you too.
How many years make up one century?
12? Wait, 24. Wait, I don't know.
Century. Do you know how?
Anybody?
What about a decade?
It's really hard.
It's not hard at all.
So a century is 100 years.
Okay.
And a decade.
Should be 200 years?
How many years make up a century?
Isn't it 1,000?
How many
Damn.
years make up a century?
10. 20.
Century.
15?
100.
I was just about to say 100. You said it. Oh, you had to give us 2 seconds. I would have got it. I would have got it. God damn.
How often do we have leap years?
Leap years? What's that? Like 10 years?
How often do we have leap years?
I know. Every 4 years.
Oh shit!
Every 4 years? Yep. How
with the February birthdays?
How often do we have leap years?
I don't know. Honestly. Not often.
4 years. Every 4 years.
Every 4 years?
Yes.
Okay.
What century are we currently living in?
2020.
Yeah.
Century.
Centuries are different. That I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
I'm a little lit. I mean, is it a trick question? I mean,
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
20s.
No, I
The
don't know.
2020 century.
No.
It's
No.
21st
I don't know. I
century.
mean,
We're really not stupid. He's in college. I'm a
in
nurse.
college. I'm just a little lit.
Nope, that explains it.
Ew.
Take a guess.
The
Go ahead. She
30th
got the first
century?
yet. Oh, wait. Oh, like that. I'm tripping.
I don't know.
I love you guys.
Let's just go 50th century. I don't know.
21st.
21st. How the fuck I get that
You
wrong?
dummy.
God
50?
damn.
Yeah, you dummy.
You. I was at 30.
Scratch that. Don't post that, okay? Don't post that.
What year did America declare its independence?
Girl, July 1st, 1989.
Oh shit!
Know the year?
That was like
Not the
8.
year. I don't know the year, but that's not it.
Do you know the day?
Is it the 4th? July 1st. 4th of
July.
July 4th. You idiot.
What year did America declare its independence?
1976. Come on now.
Oh,
No?
Fuck, we're a pretty young
Xavier.
country.
Damn, I don't know, but I know that's wrong.
17.
Oh, 17. No, I don't know.
17, 20,
She got it.
10. No.
You had the second part right.
Okay. Let's say
17.
17, 12. I don't know.
You just said it. 1776.
Oh,
What year did America declare its independence?
19. I don't know.
Damn right.
Give it a
We
shot,
are. We
I guess.
are.
1742 or 1700. I don't know.
What year did America declare its independence?
Oh shit, they're old.
Why do I say 1867 or something like that?
Are you fucking kidding me?
1746.
1745.
What year was Barack Obama elected president?
Shit, what's this? 2000. Wait, I'm old. I got to count. 19.
There it was.
This Trump 4.
It was 2008. I was on Fob Mama Dia in Iraq. I remember that.
Yeah. Shit.
I don't even know.
Wait, 11? I'm calculating. What year is this? 19. This 2020. So 12. You say what year he was what?
Elected.
The first time.
No, the fifth time.
16. 12. 2012. Was it?
What year was Barack Obama elected president?
09. 10.
You were so
08. Okay.
08.
Oh,
Bam. I was
shit.
gonna say 08, but I was like, okay.
Oh, you're Googling
Got
it.
re-elected 2012 though. My Barack.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
The 1800s, I'm assuming. I don't know.
So what year was George W. Bush elected president?
Isn't he the first one? No, he
No,
wasn't.
the first George W. Yeah.
First Washington. I don't know. Close.
Oh,
Close.
Washington.
I don't know when the
1957.
No, he's not that old.
Is it in the 80s, right? The 90s.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
I don't know. It's going to be divisible by 4.
Okay, so it's
Come on, man.
2000.
George W. Bush. He was president.
Yo, where did you get that pine cone gang? Because pine cones are also one of the old symbols of Tartaria, believe it or not.
We were born.
So,
right?
When was?
No, it was in the 2000s. 2003.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
I don't know.
You-
George W. Bush. 2002.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
2008.
Yeah.
No, that was Obama. That was Obama. What year was I in? 2000.
You need to know.
2002.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
It was after 76, right?
No shit.
Oh, whoa. I thought she meant Washington. George Washington.
What year was George W. Bush elected president?
George W. That was like
2002.
Who'd you say? Bush? What year was he elected? 2000.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh. That makes sense, Jilly. I could see that.
Why all these presidential questions?
It's 2020 is when we're reelected.
Yeah, so
Because
it's
we need to start paying attention now.
Who was the last president of the 1990s?
1990s.
Oh.
I actually have no idea.
I work good on hands-on learning. Interesting.
Nixon. Yeah.
Who was the last president of the 1990s?
Damn, I had that one. I thought I did.
But no.
His wife won't go away.
Nope, not ringing a bell.
Bill.
Oh, Bill Clinton, I guess. For real? I was gonna say something else.
What were you gonna say?
John F. Kennedy.
I know. I looked him up.
Who was the last president
sorry.
of the 1990s?
Reagan.
No.
Or he was
Who was before? Oh my God, I feel like such an idiot.
Good you are.
Come on, you got.
Come on, give me a. Okay, it was before W, right? So, no.
Yeah, it was before Bush.
Was
It was before Bush. He was elected in 2000. So, not Truman.
Who was before? Truman.
He's only president for 8
How
years.
many years are U.S. senators in office for?
I know. 4 years.
5, 2.5.
I don't know anything about anything.
8 years.
Nope. How many years are U.S. senators in office for?
Oh, 7?
How many years are U.S. senators in office for?
Dude, who's got bigger tits, him or his wife?
4.
How many years are U.S. senators in office for?
4 years?
How many years are U.S. senators in office for?
2. 4.
How many years are U.S. senators in office for?
8.
6 years.
4.
2.
6.
Oh, let's go with that.
8
Actually,
years.
I think the
US
House
senators.
is every 2.
20?
20?
Yeah, 20.
What about Congress members? Members of Congress, how many years do we re-elect them?
You got stuff I don't even know nothing about.
I don't know. 7.
How often do we re-elect members of Congress?
Members of Congress, that's... Is it 4 years?
How often do we re-elect members of Congress?
I have no idea.
7 years? Every 7 years?
Yeah, the House is 2 years.
Every 6 years.
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the
She
Americas?
said Congress,
Christopher,
not the
don't know.
Senate. She said Congress. 2 different factions make up the Congress. So she's thinking senators. Because I know the House is every 2 years. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene has to get reelected every 2 years.
I mean, I'm done. Don't know.
Christopher, was it 1976?
No, I was in school.
Or am I
That's
tripping?
Like my
I'm
year,
tripping.
And I...
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
16 something too.
1642.
He did discover America.
16.
1449.
14
Right?
something.
1450.
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
He did it.
I have no idea.
1600.
Way before that.
Oh. You are old then.
Huh?
I'm old. What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
I guess he did. He found beautiful place. He found the Cuba, right? So, and Cuba like 100 miles from here, so he got on point. He got right.
What year did he discover the Americas?
I've been like maybe 18 states. Each state is different, so I like Florida.
Oh.
That's a good answer. What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
1600s.
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
That's a long time.
Literally a whole
Super
fucking
long
song
time.
or rhyme.
You gotta be like 15 something.
What year did Christopher Columbus discover the Americas?
I don't know.
Do you guys know who Christopher Columbus is? Okay. What year was Donald Trump elected president?
No one gives a get out of office. Bye.
Period.
What year was Donald Trump elected?
Never.
Never.
I could have sworn he was. What year was Donald Trump elected president?
Don't know, because I can't stand Donald. But what are you at?
I think it was
kinda do know.
2015, but like Donald, I don't
that
really.
You're wrong. No. 2017? 2016.
Yes.
So I was close, 2015. But Donald Trump, he got impeached, you feel me? But hey.
What year was Donald Trump elected
There it is, Laura.
president?
2016.
What was that eye roll?
We're Mexican.
Happy New Year. Follow me on Instagram, Xavier Son 8. Subscribe to Liberty Hangout right now. You see the video right now. Hey, look at where we at. Look at where we at. Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him. Hey, we out.
Stop playing with him, guys. Stop playing with him. I don't really know what he meant by that. Yeah, it was 1492, Laura. But it's not true. He didn't fucking find the Americas. He wasn't a founder. It's 1492. Speaking of finding Americas, no, I don't want to do this one. Let's head into food. I like food. What kind of food menus did they have before the reset? Let's find out.
In a Burger King.
And I should probably rewind it. And I should probably put it on the big screen. Hey, no problem. Anything. John?
In this video, we'll explore old menus of early America. Welcome. Lunch was served from 12 to 2. Dinner...
Oh, this is going well. Splendidly. YouTube? YouTube? Is it YouTube or is it everything? Oh, I know what to do. Okay, that normally works. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on?
In a Burger King was small steak sauté with parsley.
It was being retarded.
Menus of early America. Welcome. Lunch was served from 12 to 2. Dinner from 6 to 8. Bouillon with spaghetti. They'll beat ketchup and chili sauce, apple butter preserves. For the main lunch course, you could have minced ham with scrambled eggs, breast of veal with rice, small steak sauté with parsley butter. Cold, you could have roast beef, boiled ham, salmon, pickled pig's feet. The main course for dinner could be Japanese crab meat au gratin, tenderloin tips with mushroom, boiled star bacon with new cabbage, roasted leg of veal with dressing.
And that.
Not sure what postum is, but the drink pretty simple. Tea, coffee, cocoa, milk, postum, or iced tea. And here's a quote by Elbert Hubbard. Truth is a useful idea. Here again, this strange stamp. Let's go back further. Let's go way back. Ooh, French Lick. We've looked at French Lick in past videos. The Springs Hotel in Indiana. Unbelievable. Look here in Tacoma, Washington. Annual banquet and dance given by the Internal Revenue Employees District of Washington. Now this is really weird. Here we have a mummy.
Death of taxes, right?
1923, Tacoma, Washington. But here we see a menu for French Lick in 1920. Thursday, so it's like they printed this just for the day. September 23rd, 1920. Guests are not required to wear spiked golf shoes in the hotel. Guests using the water should avoid uncooked fruits and raw vegetables. And dinner served for a couple hours here.
That's weird.
6:30 to 8:30. We could have chicken a la Saint-Monde, something with olives. Consomme en tasse. Hearts of celery.
Chicken liver's gross.
Baked white fish au vin blanc, or white wine. Potatoes genevoise. I don't know. Next section, we have chicken livers en brochette, sauce provençale, compote of pears, or like a jam would be a compote. And this is what I was talking about in my last video. Granted, this is 1920 here, but we'll go back to 1850 with some of these menus. And almost a French menu. I cannot imagine why these major cities had French menus to where I have a difficult time even understanding what this food is. It's just very fine. And essentially it is of a French influence, is what I found. And it's not until the World's Fairs, as I've discussed in past videos, especially the one in St. Louis, where a lot of what we call American food is introduced. Introduced at the World's Fairs. And maybe taking 20 to 50 years for these foods to really sink in and become a staple in the American diet. Things that we still use today were absolutely fascinating. Products introduced 100 years ago and now being very American processed food, as we recognize most of these labels that were rolled out at the World's Fairs. So here we have ice cream, coconut pie, roast duck, stewed apples. So you see, even like they said down here, they're always heating their fruits. They said to avoid uncooked fruit and raw vegetables. Really interesting. So we're not going to see any such raw things on this menu. Except here, maybe this romaine and orange salad. These will be fresh. It's very interesting. Here, the Bismarck Cafe, 1912, San Francisco. 1912. So the city still being in its recovery phase. How interesting now. We're going to be on the other side of the country. And the menu just starts out with beef. So this is served after 6 p.m. So this will be a dinner menu.
Is it a German cafe?
Straight up beef, and then all these different kinds of beef. Really a lot. Casserole with potatoes, rinder.
When I was in Iraq, whenever we went onto the bigger the FOBs, they would have civilian cooks, and sometimes they would be from India. So me being the asshole that I am, whenever they were serving veal, I would literally tell them, I'll take the baby cow. You know why? Cows are sacred.
Breast. I'm really straining my eyes here. Horseradish sauce and potatoes. Roast rib, filet mignon in one way for 75 cents. Filet mignon aux champignons, which is mushroom. I mean, how are you going to know that? This is in San Francisco. It's to say that they were expecting everyone to know what champignon is with their filet mignon. I mean, today, if you said to somebody in my town, would you like a filet mignon aux champignons, they would say, what the hell are you talking about? Truffle sauce, roast tenderloin, and here we can have tripe stewed or Spanish style, which is intestine. Gross. Only 35 cents. So this and the roast ribs are the cheapest. Then we have a bunch of veal. Calf's head, calf's brain, breaded, tomato sauce. And here again, beurre noir. Calf's brains au beurre noir, which means blackened butter. So who is this menu for? Or are our origins different than what we've been told? Is this a menu from a different people in America? Again, from coast to coast, we see this super French influence as late as 1912. And it seems like the further back you go, the more French the influence. So really strange. What is American? What is American culture?
Before I got so rudely interrupted. Calf brain? Who the fuck eats calf brain?
We've been taught.
Look at the prices though, they're like super cheap.
Then we have some porks, and really using everything. Using every bit, the knuckle, bratwurst here, like a sausage, pork chops, pig's feet in a deviled sauce. Sauce piquant.
Deviled
spicy sauce. So the pork chops were breaded in a spicy piquant sauce. Again, nobody knows what piquant is. And just really interesting that it would be expected to be known. No translations, no nothing. No parentheses, spicy. Then we have eggs and omelets, all kinds. And no potatoes with the eggs. One of my favorites is just eggs and hash browns. And we don't see any kind of potatoage yet. And these days I don't eat potatoes because of the lectins as prescribed by Dr. Gundry. But I do eat sweet potatoes, and actually it's much better to have sweet potatoes.
It's supposed to be, but
you can make hash browns out of them. And then we have specials for each day of the week. And perhaps the drink menu was separate. Here again, the electric grill. So again, power is just starting out in this early time period. And here really boasting that this place is lit up. Otherwise, you're dining by candle. I'd rather sit on a patio. I mean, okay, maybe one could dine by candle, but imagine cooking by candle, which I have. I even have those kerosene lamps. I used to use them before my solar system was upgraded. And this was really interesting. In the past, I've trash-talked the Chamber of Commerce of all areas. This one is for Los Angeles, and they're having An annual banquet for the Chamber of Commerce, 1903. I think the Chamber is up to no good having a banquet like this in 1903. I mean, just not like the Chamber of Commerce we have today. So here again, filet of sole en something, I don't know, papilote, pomme à la militaire, potatoes, military potatoes,
the fuck?
Sweetbreads, really interesting, like they didn't have regular bread, I noticed, but they had these sweetbreads that were cooked in lard, and sometimes some of the menus said no lard.
Did you say bread cooked in lard? I'd try it, I guess.
And no baking powder, which was really interesting. Even today I try to avoid baking powders and sodas.
It's kind of hard to eat regularly unless you duck hunt, and a lot of places in the U.S. people hunt ducks, and so they have quite a bit of duck. And the Chinese. But I wouldn't eat it regularly. It's just expensive when I was trying to buy it.
I brush my teeth with baking soda and coconut oil. But as far as swallowing it, it is like a byproduct
I brush my teeth with
of
coconut
the
oil, too.
aluminum industry. Shasta water. So it's like you couldn't drink the water anywhere, it seems like, because they always had, if they had water, they had spring water. And this coming from Mount Shasta, not far from Los Angeles. Petit pois, which is little peas, à la française. So here we go. Petit pois. Excuse me, waiter.
That sounds good, Julie.
Pettis
Really does.
pois. I mean, that's how you read it. Pettis pois. Oh, that's petit pois. Those are little peas. Why can't we have an English menu in Los Angeles in
what's the music?
1903? Here I thought this was interesting, the music score that they were going to play.
Huh.
And here, the Garfield Club, a little handwritten menu in 1910. Pudding and sauce, cake and ice cream, and coffee.
All right.
Important even back then. Here, a menu of 1902. I wasn't planning on making the video this way. I was going to start at the beginning and not read backwards like my ancestors. Now this menu seems a little more American. Nice and American. It's fruits, grains to be avoided in the Gundry diet, toast, eggplant on toast, green pea omelette, beverages, milk, buttermilk, hot milk, caramel cereal coffee with cream.
Ooh.
Interesting. And here, breads. You can just get a gluten stick or a fruit stick, graham stick.
It literally says
and
gluten stick. Well, at least back in 1902, they let you know before gluten was a thing, I guess.
It's really just a bunch of grains here on this menu. Where is this place? Oh, this is the Vegetarian in Los Angeles, 1902. The Vegetarian. That's interesting. 1902. No wonder it's so
What's on the
vegetarian,
menu?
but you have eggs. Seem like they had milk. So
Uh-oh.
kind of my kind of vegetarian. And that's about it. Dinner. Tomato and rice. Sanitarium baked beans.
Interesting.
Ding. So that's really interesting how I said this is just very
The
basic
side
and
of, like,
seeming
tuberculosis,
catering to the
I guess.
American. And look how they're speaking to the customer. Oh, those good old sanitarium beans, just like we used to have in the sanitarium. It's got to be 10 cents. Got to be in 1902. 10 cents? Lettuce with lemon, 5 cents. Fascinating.
What?
Now, there was something really interesting that I wasn't
You
expecting.
vegetarians. You will eat the lettuce with lemon for 8 cents.
And it's here. Of course, when I saw this, I got excited. And these are two buildings at the World's Fairs, the government
They
building and the machine and transportation building. Copyright 1900 Pan American Exposition. Exposition menus. Really fascinating. So, for dinner, tomato soup, oysters,
Oh,
deviled,
I would
filet
totally
of
eat that.
beef, mushroom sauce, eggplant, farci, scallop salad, and
I would 100%
macaroon
eat that.
souffle, and coffee. Thank God, at least they have coffee at the World's Fair. Like I said before, it seems like the most boring thing ever.
Celery
This time
mayonnaise.
period especially.
All right.
So we have to wait for this meal? We just have to wander around hundreds of acres, and then this is what we get? No little booths. No churro or corn dog. No, you have to wait for a roast duck, sweet potato croquet, creamed spinach,
Ooh.
mayonnaise celery. I mean, if I'm going to the fair, I need coffee on the hour. But what is this? Where do we even have to go? So we have to go to the government building for this menu. This is it. This building was essentially built to serve this little menu.
Odd that they have a Native American on the
roast
menu.
duck, little crackers and cheese. And here they're educating people on how to eat also. Culinary wrinkles suggest dainty dishes for dinners, luncheons, and chafing dish suppers. Sent free upon request. Armour and Company, Chicago. So here we go.
Like Armour hot dog?
Education. We're going to teach them how to eat in Chicago. And here again, the Pan American Expo. And here we get grilled oysters, deviled cheese crackers, potato salad, or pate sandwiches. Pate sandwiches, really. You can't even get pate within 100 miles of where I live. But still, a very small and worthless menu for the World's Fair. The Electric Tower. Notice how this building is just floating in the water.
Russia.
Even out here, the ghost of a building floating in the water.
If this is in Chicago.
Like a shell. So here you go. 1900 copyright. Here we see Mark Twain. I can tell. The Dinner to Samuel Longhorn Clemens. Really interesting. A lot of clues. A lot of secret hidden clues in these menus. Chamber of Commerce again. 1899. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Look at this. Again, clues. State of New York. 131st annual banquet in 1899?
Or 18.
Come on. Not our 1899. Here we see a beehive or something. Or a hut, but it reminds me of the beehive, a Utah symbol. So I don't know if I'm doing this book any justice. Like 600 pages. This might take me years to go through at the rate that I'm going. But for me, it has already shown me something, and I hope you as well. Something unexpected in our past. I mean, think about your ancestors going back a couple
This green
generations.
turtle refers
Is any of
to
this typical? Filet mignon, Bernaise, jardinier, or gardener. Gardener style. Potatoes Parisien. This would be Parisian style, but spelled in French again.
15th annual dinner of the American Republican Club of Pittsburgh, PA Hotel Society. Huh.
Truffles and chestnuts. We don't do chestnuts today. I don't think I know anyone who's ever roasted them on an open fire. I tried once. So green turtle, where are we here? We are at a hotel in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 1901. They're eating green turtle, oysters, and French gardener-style filet mignon. A little cheese, a little coffee, fruit, and cigars. How nice. Seldom do we see tobacco in dining establishments anymore.
Here's this.
The last time I had a cigarette in a Burger King was 1996. Here we are at the Royal Blue Line, Central Railroad of New Jersey, Baltimore, and Ohio. The Royal Blue Line, 1891, was first-class luxury in the 1890s, and its menu was in the style of the finest land-based restaurants of the era. Bottled water came from New York, so I'm not sure where exactly this is.
So you couldn't
It may
drink
have
the
just been a
water?
restaurant on a train, hence
It's a
land-based and non-land-based restaurant. This here says between New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington. What do we have here? Celery and olives, terrapin soup, which they said is a sherry-based soup that was popular but left the American menus during Prohibition. Boiled rockfish, shrimp sauce, potato gratin, Spring lamb with mint sauce. It's interesting. I seldom see a mint sauce. Sometimes at an Indian restaurant, like a mint chutney.
Ooh, they have asparagus. But
cauliflower, asparagus, string beans, sweetbreads, larded, financier style. So this is a thing. Sweetbreads larded in the financier style. It's like lard was a new thing. And it would be, because it requires processing and bottling. Siberian sorbet, really interesting. And what about the main meal?
It's duck.
I guess just roast beef or spring lamb.
Roasted redhead duck.
Oh, here we have duck with currant jelly.
Retard.
Charlotte Russe. Here they tell us about the Charlotte Russe. Originally a French molded dessert, in America became a simple sponge cake with whipped cream and maraschino cherries. Those fake cherries you get at the bar. They're real, but they've had the life sucked out of them. Strawberries and cream, orange and banana, and coffee. 1891. I'd like to go way back if we can. At the City Hotel. Temperance House by Brown and Tuttle. Really weird. The Palmer House. 1875. Chicago. Destroyed in the Great Fire.
Hey,
the
corned beef.
rebuilt hotel.
Must have
The
been
Palmer
run by
House
Irish.
was much grander and safer. Hence the words entirely fireproof were predominantly printed on the menu cover. 1847 New York, the Irving House. The Irving House. This
Damn, it looked like a
repurposed
government
building. Now having a restaurant somewhere down here. And just the Irving House. But as far as the Palmer House, I mean, why are we even calling these houses? This is just stupid. We can see soup à l'anglaise already. Just strange. You see what I'm saying? Why do we need to say soup in the English style? That's what they're saying here. And we're going to write it in French, like it's for the French. I want a soup à l'anglaise.
Franglish?
The American would sit down at the Palmer House in 1875 and say, waitress, what the hell is a l'anglaise? A l'anglaise. Oh, that's soup à l'anglaise. Don't you know?
No.
1875 Chicagoer. So this tells me that they knew. They knew. Like everybody was speaking both French and English. Similar to parts of Canada, which is really fascinating. The entire people speaking both.
Really not.
I'm not sure which one to speak because they're not sure about their history. And nor am I when I look at this. But anyway, wild pigeon. Baked pork and beans. Now that seems nice and American. Frogs. Here we go. Frogs. Who eats frogs? Well, we know who eats frogs. Fried à la crépotine. I'm not sure what a la crépotine is, but nonetheless.
You have something that looks like chicken, but you bite into it, it has the taste and consistency of fish. It just fucks with your mind.
And then we have Italian macaroni. So this kind of fusion, something new is being created. Something from the old is being transitioned into something of the new. Here we see the Willard's Hotel, this thing, in Philadelphia, 1862. Horse and buggy all over the place. The Linden Hotel. Look at these hotels, look, surrounded by bears. 1863 St. Louis. Dinner. Soup of mulligatawny. No idea what that is. Boiled whitefish, chicken, leg of mouton, and caper sauce, corned beef and cabbage, tongue, and that was just before we get to the entrees. Breast of veal, braised, demi-glace or glacé, has chicken, mouton chops, lamb chops, pig's feet à la menhold, curry of giblets with rice, calf's head, à la vinaigrette, farina, fritters, lamb's tongue,
and pork and beans.
And pork and beans. Then we have some roast items, and everything else seeming very basic. 1863. And are these legit? I question the legitimacy of everything. These very buildings. This very building was not the Fane Huell Hall Market, 1876. I don't think so. And this is the 50th anniversary. I mean, really? 1826 to
1826?
1876. This was the market. And a banquet given by the merchants and manufacturers of Cincinnati. 1870. Come on. The lavish banquet
What do they mean by
merchants and
manufacturers?
manufacturers of Cincinnati included oysters that were shipped by stagecoach. Really difficult to read this one. Broiled sweetbread. Pâté de foie. That's just a condiment. You just have pâté as a condiment. Ornaments of flowers. French nougat, which is like that Toblerone.
You also got to think back then, the meat didn't have so much steroids and antibiotics and all that shit in it.
And that kind of chocolate. Here we go, San Francisco. 1869. Christmas dinner at the International Hotel. Chicken Colbert à la reine in the Queen's style. La reine. Puree of celery à la crème. Fish, carp. Ugh, carp is so gross. But maybe when it's prepared à la Chambord, I don't know what that is. It may be wonderful. Cold boar's head. Gelatin de veau and jelly. Waiter.
Cold boar's head. That's where they got the name for the meat? The sandwich deli meat?
What is de veau? De veau is like veal, gelatin veal, and jelly. More gelatin on the jelly, yes. A lot of jellies and tongues and hams and boar's heads. San Francisco, 1874. And that, again, was just like an appetizer. Here we go with the entrees. Filet of pork, quail à la provençale of the country or province. Chicken salad, fowl, tamed rabbit with mushrooms. I think tame rabbit would be tastier.
You can't really get that much meat off a rabbit,
which
though.
is very gamey and gross. Mallard duck, lamb cutlets, and a bunch of pastries.
Mallard duck.
Sounds tasty. Beets. Just really basic, like you should just be happy to get, and I would, of course, just be happy to get something, but not paired together like in a salad or something. Just turnips. Like I'm going to order the mutton, and I'm going to have turnips and a custard pudding, and I don't see coffee, but I'll have a coffee with cream. I don't think they're going to give me cream. I don't think they have a refrigerator. I mean, it's probably all in some cellar somewhere.
Nuts, raisins, oranges, and apples.
Just eat out in winter when you would know that everything was nice and cold. Here we're seeing the champagnes in this time period. Extra dry Cabernet. Gross. And here we see another strange banquet. I mean, the banquet is just seeming so shady.
Water?
Look at all this for this banquet. Cleveland, Ohio. Army
Maybe it is.
of the Cumberland. I mean, how un-army is any of this?
Oh shit, the
Even
Cumberland
these
runs through my
buildings.
city.
Here's Cleveland. Here we see Hotel Nantasket, 1881, Boston. Look at this hotel. Nobody built a hotel within 30 feet of the ocean. No. What we can see is that this building looks like a mud flutter. See windows here. And what they had to do is build boardwalks, wood stairs going up. Just a bad idea. Just a bad idea to build a hotel so close to the water with tides, with windows and basement levels. Just ridiculous. New Orleans. So this is a restaurant on this steamship called the Empire State in 1883. Here we can see that meals cost $1. Table water from the Solorian Springs, Waukesha. And this appears to be New York and Chicago, Pennsylvania line. So this is another train restaurant. This is a wine menu. It looks like $2 for a pint, $3.50 for a quart of champagne.
Oh look, Hennessy.
Hennessy brandy.
$3.
And this is a pretty strange menu.
I don't drink Hennessy.
1884, the National Republican Convention. A special train over picturesque B&O. And this is just weird and creepy. This
Yeah.
devilish Cupid angel character holding up the electricity wrapping around the fake globe. I'll put a girdle around the earth. In quotes by Puck. Who is Puck? Look at this. This is weird. The Palmer House. Look at the Palmer House. Horse and buggy down here. And this absolute mind blower. Chicago. American, Europe, and European plans. 850 rooms. And here I think is the menu. The Palmer House, 1885. Blue Points. And again,
Siberian punch.
Anglais soup. Anglaise. English soup. So again, 1885, Chicago. Seems like we're speaking to a French person.
Thoroughly fireproof.
Representing English soup. What is English soup? I would love to know. Salmon and hollandaise, leg of mouton. Not sure what that is. Spring lamb, roast beef, calf's head, fried frogs. Again, à la crapotine. Sweetbreads, à la jardinier, at the gardener. Roast duck.
No, it's
Siberian
steroids.
punch. How interesting. So now, I don't know what that is actually. Maybe that's what they recommend you drink. Roast duck, fresh lobster.
Oh.
And
West Boston.
Again, very plain vegetables. And a steamed plum pudding in a cognac sauce. Macarons. Biscuit glacé, like a biscuit ice cream. 1885. And this menu, I mean, again, having owned a coffee shop, what a hassle to create a new menu for the day. This is for Sunday, May 17th, 1885.
What the fuck?
This menu will require me to use my magnifying glass. Boudin Blanc. Not even sure what that is. Blanc is white. I'm not sure what boudin is.
1887 Chicago.
Mutton broth. Union Railroad Ticket Office. Chicago, Monday, March 7th, 1887. An extra charge will be made for dishes ordered which are not on the bill of fare. Thoroughly fireproof. So everyone was afraid of fires, it seems. 850 rooms in a mind-blowing Antiquitech building, horse and buggy. And that's enough of that. I hope you enjoyed.
Speaking of overseas meats, apparently, because I lived in Europe in the 80s, I cannot donate blood according to the American Red Cross because I have the possibility of having, wait for it, mad cow disease. So when people like say, hey, you want to donate blood? I can't have mad cow. Because they don't know how to test for it, but we have mad cow. It's weird. All right. Oh. Let's talk about star forts. Let's see, kind of like you think about the Vatican was built upon pagan ritual grounds. What if these star forts are there to cover up gateways? Right? Right.
Part 2 of our 4-part series on star forts. If you haven't seen part 1, go check that out. It's titled Atlantis, the First Star Fort.
Atlantis wasn't a star fort.
This next theory revolves around the possible functions of these star forts, and an interesting history told me by a woman from the Lakota Sioux tribe in my area, about a sacred site where a star fort now sits today. There are a few anomalies across most, if not all, star forts that make very little sense given the mainstream narrative, that I want to look deeper into. First is the relationship between star forts and water. Many of these star forts are built with intricate water pumping systems, and the location of these forts along waterways and coastlines is of interest. We're told that star forts were put there for their strategic purposes, but many of them have never seen battle or are in remote regions away from relevance
Do you think
altogether.
they're pointed like that to,
What about the cave systems
if a flood came, it would break up
many
the
of which are
land?
undocumented and are so big you can even drive through them. And many are even said to go underneath waterways like rivers and bays. And almost all of these star forts have these passages underneath. There are also these so-called plugs that we often find in these star forts that are an anomaly all on their own. They're such a weird construction technique that we find in almost all star forts in the US and many others as well. But why? Why such specific architecture? What could the purpose have been? Well, some say that these structures were actually built as irrigation hubs. The theory has two parts.
Whoa! Oh.
First off, these star forts are said to have been built as flood walls to block a cataclysmic onset of flooding across the world, or even just the rising of sea levels after the last cooling period.
Nailed it.
Many of these forts were built with such intricacy and ingenious irrigation techniques that they could accommodate an entire city inside of them.
Alright, Laura, you too.
Floods raged on outside the city walls.
Don't worry, I thought it was Friday.
It may be no coincidence that most of these structures are built on the highest hills in their regions. These forts also could have been used as a part of a project to drain waters from the land. They could divert entire river systems and change the course of water flows, effectively draining the waters into the oceans in the process, or at least to the lowest points in the land. This whole process reminds me of the legend of the Chinese flood myth of Yu. This quote is from Emperor Yao, a so-called mythological emperor from early Chinese history. He wrote about the flood saying, "Like endless boiling water, the flood is pouring forth destruction. Boundless and overwhelming, it overtops hills and mountains. Rising and ever rising, it threatens the very heavens. How people must be groaning and suffering." The story goes that the floodwaters covered all the valleys and only left the very tops of the tallest mountains above water. Some say this is why we find the oldest Chinese ruins on the very tops of mountains, and why sacred temples are built on the highest peaks. The story goes on to speak of a hero named Yu, who the emperor appointed to combat the floodwaters. Yu had a mysterious, unexplained technology of a magically expanding soil that they would use in the construction of the flood walls and dike systems. When this failed, they resorted to a drainage system and terraformed the land, creating huge channels. It is written in ancient Chinese histories that Yu said this about the floods: "The inundating waters seemed to assail the heavens, and in their extent embraced the hills and overtopped the great mounds, so that the people were bewildered and overwhelmed. I opened passages for the streams throughout the 9 provinces, and conducted them to the seas. I deepened the channels and conducted them to the streams," he said. Our theory also takes notice of the intricate tunnel systems beneath most star forts. Some say that in many areas the floods got so bad they eventually submerged the star forts as well. And we even see evidence of this today in the form of buried star forts with little explanation around it. And this forced the people living in these star forts to go underground into these cave systems that we know are there today, in most if not all star forts. And this is not even an uncommon practice. Neouer's caves in France, Derinkuyu caves and Kai Makli caves in Turkey. There's also stories of many tribes from across North and South America of emerging from caves after a worldwide cataclysm. And we find these cave systems all over, like Mammoth Cave System in Kentucky,
Been there.
the longest cave system in the world.
I want to go back.
Much of which is complete.
Last time I was there, I was a kid, and a teenager. And I'm not that far from it, a couple hours. I just might. Huh.
Completely unexplored. The Cheyenne Caves, the Wind Caves in North Dakota. There are also caves connecting the ancient city of Cusco to other areas going underneath the Andes Mountains in South America, and countless other examples. So it's not that far off to suspect an ancient culture survived a major cataclysm in caves underneath some of these star forts.
First
Some
of all,
take this notion a
Dominic,
step further and say these star forts are built above.
it's not my fault you didn't get a notification. Your YouTube is just, keeping me out of your algorithm. And on top of that, Happy New Year. Hope you had a good day.
Of entrances to inner regions of Earth. They cite these huge cave systems underneath as evidence, and some say there are secret entrances that may now have been covered up or concreted over. Again, native stories are also what backs this theory up, and we can point to many Native American tribes that believe they originated from a cave system or an inner Earth. Quick examples being the tribes in the Southwest like the Hopi, Zuni, and Navajo, also the Mesoamerican tribes, and I'm sure many others as well. I know in my region of the country the Native people have a similar story. I find that when studying Native American creation stories, they fall into 2 categories. First is the inner Earth or subterranean world origins, and the second is originating from a huge flood by surviving on a vessel or even a piece of driftwood, like in the Ojibwe origin story. Some Lakota tribes tell a story of their creation at a site called Bedote, meaning where 2 water.
Alright, let me get the manager. God damn it. What the problem is? Huh? What the problem is?
waters come together. It is the spot between Minneapolis and St. Paul where the Minnesota River meets the Mississippi. There are also many small mounds near this area, and the Lakota tell of this being the site of their creation. They also believe that this exact spot where the rivers meet is the exact center point of Earth. And sure enough, the only star fort in the state is sitting right here. And there are caves all throughout this area as well.
Center point of Earth would imply that it is indeed flat.
This to me is no coincidence. Like the theories say, either they built this star fort here on top of this sacred focal point on Earth for a reason, or possibly some version of it was always here. I've checked it out before, and there's an entire layer of stone foundation that appears much older than the actual fort that they claim is a natural formation. Star fort or no star fort, this site is extremely interesting, and it is one of many just like it with similar stories. There's something about these star forts that they're built along ley lines or on top of much older sacred sites. I've always wondered if any star forts lay under the ocean. They're not supposed to in the timeline, but if they did, it would prove a lot. It seems they were built strategically to avoid flooding, or like we said before, perhaps to be the solution to it. Take a look at this fort in the Florida Keys, Fort Jefferson. It still stands this peculiar spot at the tip of Florida on a sandbar half in the ocean. Even after every massive hurricane, it still stands, despite being in a terrible location. Why would they have built this here? What purpose does it serve? There's another star fort in Pensacola, Florida.
It's also
the first settlement in the United States
in
dating back
Puerto
to
Rico.
1672. The very first site, they say they built a star fort. This area is also rumored by locals to have tunnels all across the city, even going underneath the bay and connecting to this star fort. So many weird coincidences, it just starts to unravel everything we know. Of course, we should take a look at the sites in Europe too, in relation to this theory. Most European star forts encompass entire cities. They also have very advanced systems of irrigation and waterways. I'm going to get more in detail into some of these technologies in part 3, but I just wanted to touch on it because these systems of terraforming and changing entire landscapes to move water could have easily been done to drain the land of water.
Happy meth day, short
Look at
bust.
the Netherlands, for instance. This country is famous for having pumped the water from their lands and used a system of dikes and windmill pumps to create more fertile farmland and areas to live. And this country might have the most star forts out of any. But what gave them the need to do this? The only reason to develop such advanced technology is out of necessity during times of massive flooding. Why build cities in such a way? Walls and moats can be built without such intricate shapes and designs. No, they did this for a reason other than war tactics. They tell us the star fort shape was a response to the invention of gunpowder, but many of these European ones were built before guns were common. This technology was way beyond what they tell us the people of the time period could do. So there has to be another explanation. In fact, many star fort cities in Europe don't even have walls. They just have star-shaped mounds around the city. This in no way could stop an invading army, but could be very useful in keeping several meters of water out. Another example of a city built using advanced irrigation and waterworks is Venice, Italy. Although this city wasn't exactly built to take on flooding, it's a good example of how man has developed intricate technologies to live in flooded areas. The people of Venice created wood waterways, and due to the composition of the water, the wood fossilized and turned to stone, creating the long-standing structures we see there today. Another example of this is the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan, and how they built rafts of vegetation whose roots eventually lodged themselves into the lake bed, creating livable land in the middle of a lake, and the Mayans used this technique as well. These star forts could possibly be another version of these types of cities. So what do you think? Could star forts have been built as some sort of flood walls or drainage system after a great flood? And what do they have to do with these stories of inner Earth, or people emerging from cave systems? And why were they built in such sacred areas and along ley lines? That's all I have for you on this topic today.
I mean, it would make sense that the tunnels would actually
There
be
by our civilization.
in those star forts, because their purpose, like I've always thought, they were there to break up the water from the floods. That's why there's so many, and that's why there's tunnels, because they, like the video showed, they have like under, how do I explain this? Little communities underground. Most of the old world, it seems like traveling was done underground in all these cities because everything connected. Kind of like a subway, but a walkable subway. What is this? Oh, shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did not expect to go this long. So, wow. A little bit of everything today. Current events, old events, Intifada, whatever, man. Keep your head on a swivel, guys, and gentlemen, and ladies. And there's only 2 genders. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the content that I provided for you today. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, and maybe you just toned out and using me as background noise. But I'm not telling you how to think, because that would just be crazy, especially coming from me. I just want y'all to think, right? 2025, the year of thinking. Well, every year should be the year of thinking. We'll see. New Year started off with a bang. Let's see how it continues.